Hello and welcome to the England Korfball Grand Finals weekend, coming to you from one of the most iconic venues of the London 2012 Olympics, the Copper Box Arena in the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. We're here to see a wonderful final of Korfball that's taken place over 2 days, and now we've come to the culmination of a wonderful season for two teams who are going to come and face each other to see who is the best and who's going to take that crown away. My name's Tom Brady, and I'm here with Jess Davies, England player. Going to be my co-host. Jess, what an occasion. Wonderful.
It's fantastic to be here, Tom. Been looking forward to it for ages. Fantastic that we're going out live on the BBC. It's great that there's a little bit more exposure for this amazing sport.
Yeah, and Steph Watson, now you are an England player and you played for one of these finalists, Trojans, and won 7 medals with them. But tell me, you played in here last year. What's it like?
The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. I mean, you can hear behind me just how loud it is.
Yeah.
And as a player, to be playing in this environment, 2,000 spectators just to watch them korfball is an incredible achievement. But certainly is going to be a really good match today.
And for the first time, we're on the BBC for this wonderful tournament. Yesterday's broadcast was received very well. Jess, what do you think it means for korfball for us to be on the BBC?
Oh, it's fantastic. If you look, we get compared to the Dutch league. That's where the sport originated.
Which is like the NBA of korfball.
Yeah. So if you look at their finals, they're filling the Ziggo Arena in Holland. That holds 17,000 people at the finals. You were commentating there.
Yeah.
Our sport is actually in England, we're the second highest domestic final. So that's our kind of trajectory. That's where we're hoping to get to.
Steph, how is the sport growing at the moment?
Well, it's absolutely growing in all areas. So from player base, which we got over 1,000 more players playing at the moment, which is an incredible feat for the sport, but also in coaches and our officials, over 200 new coaches, another 100 officials, and it just shows that in any part, whether you're volunteering or whether you're taking part as a player, the growth is there, and it's whether you're a student getting in at the university level or at club level, the entry points are really varied, and so for korfball it's a big achievement to get to this point where we are today.
Well, we've certainly got more noisy fans than we had in the past.
We have, and let's not forget, we've been doing this gig for a short while now, and even in that short amount of time, we've seen that this is now a ticketed event. Before it would just be the fans that would just come to support their team. Now, people are coming because they want to find out what this sport is all about.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the teams that are coming up, but playing here, are we going to see a lot of nerves today, Steph?
I think you'll probably see some nerves, certainly in the opening 10 minutes, because playing in this arena, it's very close. The spectators are right on the pitch with you, and you can hear every chant, every horn, and every loud noise in behind you. So, yes, I expect the players to be nervy, but they're professionals, they're elite athletes, they'll get on with the game, and they'll give us a good show.
Well, for my part, I think that young footballers watch football all the time on the TV. And now here's an opportunity for young korfballers, and we've had lots in here this weekend, to come and see the top stars live. But yet, if they couldn't make it, they can see us on the BBC, top quality, hopefully good commentary, but with great graphics.
And let's not forget, there's a lot of families here as well. There's children here. Yesterday, the National Schools Championship, so it's not just the current korfballers, it's children, it's parents, everyone's here having a great time.
And one of the things that you're going to notice is that we're a mixed team sport, and now we're just going to have a short clip of Jess talking to Dame Helena Morrissey about gender equality in sport and in life in general.
One of the most intriguing things about korfball is the fact that it's gender equal, men and women playing on the same team. So that's why it's fantastic that I can be joined now by Dame Helena Morrissey, who's worked alongside the BBC in other events such as the women's boat race. Dame Helena, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
How did you first get involved in korfball?
Well, my daughter Millie, she'd played netball at her all-girls school, and then she started at university and was telling me about this fantastic new sport she's trying out, korfball. I'd never heard of it, and of course the more I found out, particularly about it being gender equal, the more I wanted to learn.
So what is it about korfball that really intrigues you? What's so great about korfball?
Well, along with other sports, it's obviously fast, furious, exciting to watch. But this gender equality is just the start of how inclusive it is. You can play it, throughout your life, I understand, although I might test that out. And also, of course, it's that you don't hold one position. Everybody can have a go at shooting. We switch around the attack and defence. I think there's no other sport like it, and I really hope it takes off.
That's brilliant. So are you going to give it a go today on our outside station?
Well, as long as it's not caught on camera, I will.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Well, very positive words. I don't think you did get it on camera at all there, Jess.
No, we didn't.
But korfball is gender balanced. Men and women have to play together, 4 men, 4 women. And our club, Steph, down to the core. We have juniors from the age of 6 or 7, right up to people at 60 or 70, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, even this weekend we've had the National Schools Championship, so it's beginning to be played in schools. It's a really good sport for playing in schools with the actual gender balance. So that's what we're seeing, whether, like you say, it's from 60 years old up to 60. I've seen grandparents play with their grandchildren in the korfball court, so that's great to see.
And that's great for families for sure. So Jess, you're going to talk us through, we've had some great response on social media.
We have. People have been in touch.
What have they been saying?
People are watching all over the place, because yesterday we had some semi-finals yesterday. Ruben, for example, was watching from Mallorca. So if you want to get in touch, send us your tweets at England Korfball and use the hashtag KorfballFinals.
Right, we got a really special clip coming up now. We're lucky to have 2 incredibly competitive athletic sisters playing on opposite teams in this final, and we thought we'd give them a little bit of a challenge. So now, cue Amy and Rachel. We're here at the Korfball Grand Finals for the Ultimate Korfball Challenge, and we've got the Turner sisters playing against each other. First part of the competition, let's see what they know about each other. Right. What is Amy's worst habit?
Biting her toenails. Not biting, picking her toenails.
Right or wrong?
I bite them too, it's true.
Perfect. All right, what's Rachel's guilty pleasure?
Picking her nose.
Wrong. All right, what is Amy's most embarrassing moment?
I can't say that.
Well, I think we're going to call that a wrong. The next one. What is Rachel scared of?
Me.
What is Rachel's?
What are you most scared of?
Yeah, true.
Okay,
Definitely
that's true. All right, we'll count the scores later. All right, now quick fire round. All right, who's funniest?
Me!
Yeah. All right, who's the best dancer?
Me! Still me!
Look at that. You're going to have to get in there quicker.
It's true.
All right, who takes the longest to get ready?
Amy.
Oh, we're going to cut a time with that one. Yeah. Okay, so, and who, I'm going to have to make a new question, I can't see that. All right, who is the fittest person?
Amy.
All right, well, we're going to see in a second soon.
No pressure.
Coming up, the next part of the challenge.
Korfball's the ultimate test of speed, skill and agility. So let's put them to the test. 3, 2, 1, go! And the ultimate korfball challenge, it's a shootout. Hey! 2!
Well, it's all smiles now on the videotape, but we're going to coming down to the real thing, and we're going to see those sisters go at each other pretty hard, I'm telling you. So, and we're joined by Andrew Hall, who is an England player, and he played for Beck, I believe, for 5 years. Beck are one of the finalists. They're a South London club. They are the biggest club in the country with over 100 players, lots and lots of juniors. Been very successful, but not quite made it to be the grand champion just yet. Andrew, talk me a little bit about the club and about how the preparation and the growth of the club.
Well, I joined the club maybe 7 years ago. I played for 6 years. It has a real family feel to it. It's very welcoming for whether you played for never before or if you played for 10, 15 more years and you've really experienced. It really caters for everyone. Obviously, today we're going to see the first team play, really competitive. They've been pushing into the finals weekends for the last, I think, 5 consecutive years. Never quite managed to win in the finals. They've got golden goal against Trojans in the past, but never quite gone that extra step. So they'll be hoping to do that today.
How would you describe their style of playing?
It is. I mean, it has changed a lot throughout the years.
Yes.
I mean, more recently.
And WSK Korfball has changed throughout the years. It's become more athletic, more competitive, faster. How have Beck adapted to that? Because they have, haven't they?
Yeah, so more recently, I mean, the coaches are bringing a very structured game of play, and they're looking to know exactly what they're doing when they're going into that game. They know exactly what moves they're doing, and they're hoping from those set plays they're going to create opportunities and then hopefully get some goals.
Well, we'll come on and talk about the players a little bit later. Steph Watson, 7 years champion here at this final with Trojans. They're a Croydon club. They've been going since 1972. I mean, like, they are awesome. How do they train and prepare to stay at this level?
Well, they train really regularly. I mean, this squad in particular, if it takes 10,000 hours to get an elite athlete, well, they've racked up over 100,000 hours between them, both on and off the pitch. They train very hard off the pitch, squad sessions, gym sessions, and that is a big factor in their fitness and their development over the years. They have proved themselves to be at the top level now for 11 years, hoping for a 12, and they're not looking like they're going away anytime soon.
But I just want to point out to everyone that it's not that Trojans are so much better than everyone else, they are just consistent. Andy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, very much so. And it is that knowledge and experience that they've done it 11 years already. They know, and they've got that belief that they can go out there, perform and do it again.
Okay, so both of them played in the semi-finals yesterday, and I think we've got some highlights on tape so you can see that how they progressed towards this final.
Yeah, in this highlights reel you can see Beck really challenged under Norwich Knights there. They had to shoot really well to score some of those goals, and you can see the pressure they're under. That's right on the back of the court there, taking an 8-metre shot, and they're right under the post there for Caitlin Fitzgerald. So they had a great game in the second half yesterday, but they struggled to score in the first half, and they'll want to adapt that for today's game, making sure that they take their early chances early on.
Okay, and who do you see as the key players for Beck? We see Blake Palverman there, number 3 shooting. He's going to be big, isn't he, for them today?
Yeah, Blake Palverman is an absolute key player for them. He shot very well in the second half. He does shoot from range really nicely, and I'd like to see him actually cut a little bit more on the inside, as he just did there. That is his prime goal tally, and he'll pick up a lot more goals that way.
Yeah, and so you know the Trojans team very well. We all know them, love them and hate them. Who do you see coming up big for them?
I think like Dave Brooks, always one of those players under pressure, you know you can always rely on him. One of the most consistent shots in the game.
And I think we just saw him score one there as Tony Woodbine. Go on, Andy.
Yeah, and obviously he often plays with Tony Woodbine, again, another experienced ex-England captain, I believe. Again, like, you know, when it comes down to the wire, you can really rely on these people, their shots. Neela as well, her outside shooting is just phenomenal. And then you mixing that up with, like we're seeing Catherine Goodrich and Amy Turner, like their speed, their aggression, and yeah, they've got everything.
And so Dave Brooks, for me, is the one to stop. Who have Beck got that can stop him, Andrew?
Well, I think we often talk about all goal scoring and attacking prowess these teams have got, but looking at Beck, they probably got the best defensive team in the league. I think looking against their goals against, that they've minimised that damage throughout the league, and especially Blake Palverman. He's such a big. His arm span is humongous.
I tell you, if we see Blake Palverman against Dave Brooks, we're in for like
that'll be a fantastic
killer
matchup.
Clash. So, do you think the Turner sisters will face each other today, or they're normally not?
I think if they're in the same section against each other, you could see a match-up there, which would be intense rivalry. I've seen them play against each other over the years, and it's gone both ways in the results. They're both very similar players, both like to attack on the inside with both a very nice shot on the outside. So it'll make a very close rivalry on that if they do match up.
And it's going to, both of them are going to take some stopping, no matter who they play with. But we've also got Catherine Brooks for Trojans. Who in Beck do you think can handle her? She drives to the post very well. She shoots well on the outside. She's very clever. Who can stop her, Andrew?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, do you put someone tall like Joanne with a long reach who maybe can take that little step off? So then that gives them a little bit of buffer room when they're running. You've got that extra bit of time. I think that would be a good matchup.
Because to our korfball, let's say new viewers or new fans, they've got to realise that you have to attack and defend. So you could be the best attack in the world, but you're going to spend half of your time in defence, and that's going to mean that you've got to be good at both ends. Who's the best defender on this pitch going to be today?
I think Blake, as a male player,
and
he will take so many interceptions, and you'll see that the pressure on the ball lines he'll create, but also in the rebound, he's a great disruptor of the rebound, taking the ball back, and that gives Beck a lot of possession. But on the Trojan side, I'd probably have to say Catherine Goodridge and Hannah, her sister, are together two of the best female defenders in the country.
And I think that those, when they get going, they make it very difficult for teams to score. So I think that's a really good call. And Andrew, give me a name of another boy rivalry that we can look forward to.
I would really like to see Kieran Hicks play Johnny Nicholson. Kieran is one of those players where he will commit 100% all day long, and he will run until he can no longer walk.
Yeah.
And he's so athletic. I'd love to see someone like that go up against Johnny.
So sometimes we look at a korfball club and you can say, oh, they got good boys or they got good girls, but both of these clubs have got good girls and good boys. But I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's got the best girls? Who's the most dangerous girls?
Well, I think Trojans do have the slight edge because they're a bit more dynamic. The Beck girls are a little bit taller, but it does restrict them a little bit in what they can offer. And I think that the Trojans girls have the shooting capability and the prowess that perhaps gives them a little bit of the edge, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit. So we have got some interviews with a couple of the boys, Dave Patel and Dave Brooks. They could line up together, be quite explosive. Let's have a look at them.
And I'm joined live in the studio with another very experienced player. Can you just tell me a bit about yourself and who you play for?
So my name's Davish Patel. I'm playing for England Korfball Club. Started my career there. I've been there for 23 years now. So quite some time. Came through the junior ranks there, and it's just now doing it for the seniors for a few years, shall we say.
A few years. So you came through the juniors, but how was it that you actually got into korfball?
So where we train, that's where I went to school. So we had a link with one of the PE teachers there, and I've always been up for trying any sports out. So went along to a lunchtime session, a taster session, and just loved it. And well, I've not looked back since, really. 23 years on now.
That's brilliant. So what are the benefits of playing korfball? Why do you play it above any other sport?
I think it's just the mixed gender element. Obviously, just brings a whole new dynamic to the sport. Typically, boys' sports, if you go to football, cricket, those kind of things are very male-dominated, and you kind of have a different environment of feeling. Always having people trying to be that alpha male. So it's a very different dynamic. Obviously, in korfball, you've got that mixed gender element. The girls are more than happy to put you back in your place if you if you try and step out. So I think it's just that whole element of things, and there's no set positions. You get to do everything, and I think that's just great.
Brilliant. And very quickly, how easy is it to get involved?
Actually, very easy, especially nowadays. I think there's so many more clubs that are there now compared to back when I started. So I think it's just a question of, if you're interested and you're keen, check out englandkorfball.co.uk. You have a club finder there. There's so many clubs that are out there now across all the breadth of the country. So I think it's relatively easy to get involved now.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Dav.
Thank you.
So I'm joined in the studio now by a Trojans player. Tell me a little bit about who you are and who you play for.
My name's David Brooks. I play for Trojans Korfball Club. Been playing for about 25 years.
And how did you get into korfball in the first place?
Initially it was through my family. I've got a large family. There's 7 of us, and I got in when I was about 9 years old as a junior, and haven't really stopped playing since.
You've only ever been at Trojans, haven't you?
No, actually, to start with, I was at a club called Wallingham, which no longer exists. It's a Croydon-based team. And then Trojans, who were playing at the time, also were looking to fold because they didn't have enough players. So we kind of came together as a team.
Okay.
We took on the name of Trojans, and as juniors, we helped bolster sort of the ranks of Trojans, and we've been there ever since.
And finally, how transferable is korfball? If you've played other sports before, how easy is it to pick up and just start playing the sport?
I think it's probably one of the most versatile and transferable sports out there. I think if you want to play at the top level, it's there. It's available. If you're a beginner, you can come in. If you're a junior or a social player, I think it's open to everybody. I think that's one of the unique points about korfball.
Okay, thanks very much, Dave.
Well, it's nice to hear some of the personal stories from the players, isn't it? I didn't know that about Dave Brooks. My name's Tom Brady. I'm joined with by Jess Davies, and we're cutting over to Steph Watson and getting some of her input. But in the meantime, we've got the players up on screen. Joanne Wilson, Rachel Turner, Blake Powerful, we talked about, number 3, the danger guy, and Man Mountain Davish Patel, captaining the team. I know he's very proud to be doing that in such a great arena. That's a nice lineup.
That's a
Jess.
fantastic division. Very well weighted. Both boys can attack, both girls can attack. Joanne Wilson had a really, really impressive game yesterday in the semi-final.
I caught her as she was on the way out the hall. I said, "You're impressive today." She said, "I know I was, wasn't I?" And then down the other end, we've got Caitlin Fitzgerald, Kenzie Porter, Joseph Bedford, very easy to spot, very powerful frame, and Kieran Hicks, who scored one of the most wonderful goals that I think I've ever seen yesterday with the one-hander. Who are you liking then in an attacking sense?
Again, a balanced division, but in a different way. Both boys can rebound really well, and actually both girls are very tall. You realise that when you see them coming out in a moment. Both girls can offer themselves under the post, but they will score goals.
And coming up next, we got the Trojans, teams based out of Croydon. Steph. So we've got Neela Brennan, Hannah Goodrich, one of the Goodrich sisters, Tony Woodbine, him and Dave Brooks at number 8, the man, the legend. We'll talk about him a lot. Who are you liking in there attacking-wise?
Well, what they've got in that section is Tony Woodvine and David Brooks combining. That's what you'll see, is everyone looks at David Brooks as the main goal scorer, but the facilitator there is Tony Woodvine, and you'll see him pick up a fair number of goals off the creation of Dave Brooks, and supported really nicely through Hannah Goodrich and Neela Brennan, who will take her own shots and undoubtedly score them.
Okay, and then down the other end, we've got Amy Turner and Kathleen Brooks, two of the most attacking girls you are ever going to meet in the whole of your life. Sam Brooks, when he gets your 2 feet on the floor, he's going to drop it. And Johnny Nickerson, who does it all. He's fluid around the post. Who are you liking attacking-wise there, Steph?
This is a more standard setup because Johnny will take the post a lot more to take a lot more possession in the rebound. So you'll see a little bit more Sam out the front with Amy Turner taking more of the shots. Kat will go in on the inside, and you'll see her trying to assist the shots on the outside there.
Okay, now the players are going to come out to hopefully spectacular applause here from this. It's not quite full, but we've got a couple of thousand here in the Copper Box arena. Jess, what are you looking forward to about this game?
Oh, it's going to be electric. These teams have met in the final of this competition 4 times. The biggest margin in each of those finals has only ever been 4 goals. 3 of those finals have come down to 1 goal.
Yeah.
So they're really, really going to push it to the limit today, and maybe we can see an upset.
Well, the thing we say about Trojans is they play right until the end. And last year in the semi-final, 3 goals down, 3 minutes to go, very strong mental strength. Steph, you were in that. What do they do differently in the dying minutes of the game that scares all the teams? So Beck will be saying in the changing room, we need to be 5 ahead in the last 5 minutes to have a chance. What is it about Trojans that they do it that way?
Well, what Trojans have got is an adaptability. So that is what makes them so hard to beat, because 7 goals down, they will adapt their attack and adapt their defence and make sure that whether it's conceding fouls or not scoring for a certain player, they will change that. And that adaptability makes them last right the way through to the last minute, because they will pick and change and choose who are their best options. And undoubtedly you'll see that if it does get very tight, Dave Brooks and Sam Brooks will be reverted to as the number 1 players to take those shots, and almost guarantee Sam Brooks has taken that winning shot more often than I've ever seen any other individual player take.
So Steph is going to have a look at how they match up and just make sure we understand the rivalries. Jess, you know, it's not quite prediction time yet, because I always do it to you at this stage. I know it's unfair, but it's hard to bet against Trojans, isn't it, with the pedigree that they've got?
Oh, yeah.
But let's talk about what Beck needs to do in order to win this.
I'm sure John Denton's a very experienced coach now. He's assisted by Graham Box, again, a very experienced coach. They will have a game plan. They will have been preparing for this match ever since the final last year and for the whole of last season. They will know what it is that they want to do, how they're going to set up, and how it is that they're going to beat Trojans. I spoke to John briefly yesterday, and he said, we've been working hard and we have a plan. He wouldn't elaborate on what that plan was,
of course,
but naturally they know what they're going to do, and I'm intrigued to see if it works for them.
So, one last one, Steph. Which pair-ups are you liking? Fantastic. So now we're just going to cut to our pitchside reporter, Adam, who's somewhere in the crowd.
Hey Tom, I've got John Denton here. John, massive day today. How are you going to win this game?
It's about staying in the game from the get-go right to the end. We've got to be in it. You saw last year we lost by 1 goal, so we've got to control, use our experience, and yeah, just be in front at the right time.
What about the copper box here? What about this atmosphere, these fans? How are you feeling?
It's amazing. You can hear it. We've got so many fans here today. We just want to put on a good account for them, and yeah, give them some fantastic korfball to watch.
I wish you all the best. Good luck today. We'll go to Tom and Jess on commentary.
Thank you very much, Adam, and we're almost ready for the beginning of the game. There's a young lady mascot there. Hopefully not the last time that she touches a korfball on a finals pitch. We'll look forward to seeing her grow up through the years. It's great to see lots of children of korfball players do play korfball, and we will be talking about some family matchups. There's Steve Johnson, Jan Piepers, and head coach Gary Brooks, who are the coaching staff for Trojans. A lot of experience, a lot of titles between them. Our referee, Steve Jones, just shakes the hand of Devesh Patel, who's going to bring the ball up in this really, really exciting clash. So Beck to start.
Interesting to see that. You can't see it quite on your screens, but you might have just caught Rachel Turner about to attack. Actually, what Trojans have done, they're not going to set up Amy versus Rachel, or they won't to start with, certainly. Yeah. Catherine is actually going to take on that role of playing against Rachel to start. And that's Joanne Wilson and Rachel Turner. And then Blake Palfman in what we call the feed, and Rachel Turner straight into the action. Great contest at the post between Johnny Nickerson and Devesh Patel. And Rachel Turner, oh, look at that! Go, Rachel, go! She's put her team 1-0 up at the beginning. She's on fire. She had a fantastic game yesterday. Like we said in the semi-final, she's only transferred to this club midway through the season, so she's not maybe as used to playing with these players, but you can't tell. And you can see the boys clearly set up. They have a game plan. They're going to attack through those girls down that division. Okay, Tony Woodvine's going to take a free pass. He's going to get it back from his captain, David Brooks. Nice extension from Tony, just dropped short. Well picked up by Kieran Hicks, and him and Joe Bedford work it out. Kieran Hicks is going to have a tough game today, playing against Ayoshimi. He's going to mark up against David Brooks. Oh, Rachel Turner, she's on it. She is so on it. 2-0. Amy's going to regret baiting her earlier. At the battle of the sisters, but as we said, you have to defend as well as attack, and that's Amy Turner being defended by Joanne Wilson. Nice ball over the top to Catherine Goodrich. Very typical Trojans move, where they like to move the ball over the top, turn defenders' heads. That's the 360-degree nature of the korfball competition, which for me makes the tactics quite unique. But equally, Catherine Brooks, she drives at her player like no other girl. She can turn one way, she turns the other, and she's through and she's past you. Caitlin Fitzgerald, Kenzie Balder, and Kieran Hicks. He gets Dave Brooks in the air. Draws the foul. Tell you what, that was close to a penalty, but what we're doing is that was giving it a free pass. It means that all the players have to stay outside of that white circle until the ball is moved. Whistle goes. They've got 4 seconds to get rid of it. There we go. There's a nice extension from Caitlin. She's a free pass specialist. Steph, can I ask you, why do you think it is that girls typically tend to take free passes over boys?
There's a couple of reasons. The speed at which the girls can go out to mark, and the height. You know, being able to shoot over the top of a tall boy is much harder under that amount of pressure. So that would be one reason, and actually it's a great opportunity to get the girls and the boys who are best rebounders actually at the post. So it sets up a better possession, as well as it gives you the edge in terms of the attacking advantage on the outside. And then it all comes down to shot percentage. Can you shoot that shot and score it? And Caitlin has proved time after time. Joe Bedford, downtown. Becca starting well. What an impressive start from Beck. And okay, we've got a massive Beck contingent in front of us, but all the neutrals will be with Beck. Not that they don't love Trojans, we love to watch them play, but we want to see someone else come up and beat them. It's been too long. I think we're going to be looking to see Sam Brooks getting involved. Okay, but he's against Blake Palfman, so I don't know what he's, that's not a great matchup for Sam. Though, look, if he's left alone and he gets his confidence up, he will drop a couple of good shots. Oh, there we go. Be interesting to see how well Joanne Wilson can cope with Amy Turner. If she can start driving in Amy, I think she's going to make things really hard for Joanne. I was just about to say, I think it's going to be a tough day for Joanne Wilson against Amy. Amy likes to go forward. Joanne Wilson doesn't like to go backwards so much.
It's a nice shot from Kieran Hicks.
And a better collection from Joe Bedford, working well with Kenzie Baldock.
And this is what this section actually have. They're going to have a lot of possession. Their height advantage is going to give them shot after shot after shot, and they can keep shooting until that goal goes in.
Oh, that
and
was
again,
close.
you see they've picked up that ball, and they're just going to keep going now until they get the goal in, and that is something Trojans are going to have to deal with.
Okay, Trojans still staying cool, 3 goals down. Doesn't really matter too much at this, but very encouraging signs for Beck, the way that they're controlling the ball, holding on. There is a shot clock in operation, which means that you can't see it on your screen, but they've got 25 seconds in which to hit the Korf. So there's a reset, there's another 25 seconds. And that was called travelling. So the rules about your footwork in Korfball are quite liberal. If you catch the ball on the move, you've got a couple of steps, and you can continue a flying move. But once you stop, you can pivot, but you can't then move off. And the ref saw an infringement there. And Rachel Turner getting in Catherine Brooks' face.
Kenzie Baldock, I think she's quite an underrated player for me. I think John Denton brought her and Kieran Hicks both from his previous club, which was Kingfisher, and he put them straight into this team knowing what they can do, and they're really proving themselves. Kieran Hicks is really he's developing his role as mostly a rebounder. And Kenzie Baldock, she's really quite adaptable. You can see her at the post right now. But equally, she's fantastic. Great ball handling skills.
Yeah, and the referee is seeing an infringement as Joe Bedford broke around. Well, let's have a look. Can we see it very clearly on the replay? So look, he's around Tony. Means the defend rule's gone, and that's called on the defending girl.
Yeah.
For a little touch, you've got to allow that ball to come back, Steph? Got to keep it clean, which is what a couple of teams didn't do yesterday, and they got punished.
Yeah, Tornadoes really suffered from their lack of discipline yesterday. 10 of their goals, I think Johnny got 10 from the penalty spot. So Beck will be keen not to do that, and Trojans will be keen as well, and not to be giving too many fouls like that away.
Well, Trojans normally got really good discipline, but they're not normally 4 goals behind, they're going to go 4-0 behind. Is that Dave Brooks' first shot?
It was. They won't be concerned though, will they, Steph? I mean,
not
Gary's not even out of his seat. They won't be bothered at this moment.
No, they won't. They'll be slightly concerned about the amount of possession that they're not getting. They're getting only one shot
the ball
at the moment. So from their point of view, they would like to see a little bit more possession and deal with this section with Joe Bedford and Kieran Hicks, because they are losing a lot of the ball, and they need to make sure that they have a little more possession for Dave and Tony to go and attack on.
And in the meantime, we had a disallowed goal down the other end, which was for travelling. It was footwork. It wasn't the guy that shot it, Blake Palferman. It was Davish Patel that passed it to him. And there's Palferman, number 3, is going into the feed position now, holds it, exchanges with Joanne Wilson, takes up the collect position, adds Davish Patel, one-footed shot.
For me, mentally, the next 2 goals, I'm not going to say huge, but they really will start to pile on the pressure. If Beck could get the next 2 consecutive goals to take it out to 6-0, now that 6 does kind of start to be a bit of a margin that Trojans will have to work hard to get back. And equally, if Trojans can get the next 2 on the bounce, then we're really, game on, and actually it's almost as if they're level.
Well, not so fluent from Trojans, and Neela's had to force that shot up, but it didn't hit and connect. Tony will connect there though, and they do reset the shot clock. Neela Brennan, great collection, and Hannah Goodrich swooping in but can't get the ball back.
And this is really where that height difference, the arms, they're getting in the way for them, and they're going to have to deal with this really quickly and find another way, because the girls are really struggling to actually assist the boys here in the pass. Another goal
Rachel
from Rachel
Turner on fire, 3-0 in the sister battle, 5-0 in the match.
If maybe, at what point will they maybe decide to switch Amy Turner onto her? Just psychologically, would that add a bit of a...
You've got a good eye, because down there you can see the girls talking to each other, and they have to do it. So now we do see the sisters again. So just coming into a shot now, Davish Patel.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Catherine Brooks' defence. She's one of the best one-on-one defenders, I think, in the English Korfball League.
This is Rachel against her sister Amy.
I'm just thinking mentally, playing against your sister, I think it might affect
already
Rachel.
It's changed it. A defended shot, forced it up. So yeah, I think that's a really smart move.
Adaptability, that's what Trojans will do. Something's going wrong, they make a change, and now Beck have to solve the problem instead.
And we all knew there's a problem to be solved. Gary Brooks, the coach, doesn't need to go off the bench to do that, does he? He knows his players will sort that out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that they'll need to sort out down the other end with the very difficult height problem of Joe Bedford's section playing is how can they get Neela more involved in the game?
because when she gets going, she could turn the tide of this. She could be scoring 6, 7 goals.
There's Palferman. Now he's my man for this tournament. So for this
Rachel Turner
match.
driving on the inside against Amy.
Great
Deemed
move.
to be a penalty.
And she's drawn a penalty. Look at the little fist bump that she gives, and we'll just see the line that she took. Okay, she's pulled her sister out. She's driven around her, and then her sister's continued on and fouled the boy. And that's quite rightly. Trojans have called a timeout, and the crowd rather good-naturedly are giving a little bit of a boo. But and you see that quite often, Steph. We'll call a timeout just to put some pressure on the penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a trademark move from Coach Gary Brooks, but it's also to settle them because they know this is a key.
And we're just going to have a listen to the to Gary Brooks' timeout.
Yeah, that's what we're missing. Yeah, just don't get too tight. Yeah, open the space out. Remember what we said when doing it was when we're going to take the first shot, they're all dropping off, so we need to look for those options. Everyone needs to be reacting. So if you can't just shoot it nobody there, someone's got to be going in there as well at the same time. So all this is
And it's great to see Gary Brooks doing his captain's job there. What a captain he is, Steph.
No, you see, that's what I was just going to say. Steph, I was going to ask you actually who would speak in that timeout, but it's really interesting to see who the leaders are in that team.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Brooks, everyone gravitates towards him, but Amy actually also having her opinion heard and making sure that everyone knows what she thinks. I think that's really interesting. Even in the pre-match team talks and even half-time, will you find, Steph, that a lot of the Trojans players have their say? Or is it mostly just Gary and maybe Dave Brooks as captain?
Dave Brooks will take the lead on a lot of the timeouts and things like that. He's talks a lot of sense, and he's just a very calming influence, which is another reason they're always in it till the end.
And that looked a little bit of a charge there from Amy Turner against Joanne Wilson, but she gets a decision from our referee, Steve Jones. In the meantime, Davish Patel scored a penalty. That's 2.5 metres. 90% or so of those are scored. Sam Brooks will take the free pass. Great start for Beck. And Trojans haven't scored in almost 10 minutes.
And what did I say? If Beck could score the next 2 on the bounce, taking it out to 6-0, that's just a little bit of a mental game. I'm not saying Trojans can't do it, because you've got players like Sam Brooks who, look how fired up he is.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
And I think, you know what, that could just that first goal, just settle the nerves, and Trojans, I think, are now just suddenly going to go on a bit of a run.
Well, Beck know better than anyone else, so they should do that. You have to play 60 minutes against Trojans. So really, sometimes it psychologically can hurt you if you stop playing and think, oh, we're going to coast from here. But there's going to be almost 50 goals in this game. I'm convinced of it. This 5 is nothing at the moment. They have to keep their style, and they're already doing it.
They won't be able to give away any fouls. Sam is a free pass specialist, and he will convert near on 80% of any free pass given. So that will be a concern for Beck. And interesting here, the Neela on Caitlin matchup. Neela just taking the edge there, and that's what Trojans want to see happening a bit more.
Yeah, Neela just bossing the centre there, making it difficult for Beck to move the ball. That's a poor attack.
I'm interested to see the attacking style of this Beck division that we're watching right now. It looks as though long shots, I say that just as Joe drives to the post. Joe
Bedford, number 9 for Beck.
It looks as though their plan there really is to shoot on the outside, but then at the last minute look to draw your player out, get them used to coming out to you, and then they're going to look to exploit that driving in, rather than the other division, which maybe is driving in first, looking to create that chance on the inside.
That's what I love about Korfball. You get hot on the outside, it pulls the players out, and then creates opportunities on the inside. Joe Bedford getting his opponent, Tony Woodvine, number 7, in the air. Joe Bedford misses one. Won't be a big deal. And I try to say to players that we coach, and Jess and I coaching together, like it's just another shot. Well, if you miss more than one, it really, really does hurt.
One of the interesting things you'll see with Jo Wilson on Amy is her height. She can just step off a little bit more, and it forces Amy to take a slightly longer shot and a further shot, and that will lower her percentages.
And I think the positioning was poor from Joanne Wilson. She was just in the wrong place, and then just continued with the second movement, little push in the back while a difficult shot was going up. That was poor discipline from Joanne Wilson.
It was, but for me, that is Trojans' strength down this end at the moment. I do want to see them go in 2-2 with the boys on the inside, get those girls on the outside, get them running, get Amy shooting. That's going to be your strength.
Now, this is the Beck attack that I like the most. Well, mainly because it's got Blake Palferman, but they haven't even had to use him because Rachel Turner has been so hot. Now we'll see Blake. Interesting style, long extension that he's got, great accuracy, great power. Look at that, he doesn't have to do anything in order to get the shot up. Doesn't quite drop it.
The match-up down there between Davish and Johnny, if they can get Johnny capitalising in the defensive rebound, taking more steals, that will really help the section with Tony and Dave. A little bit more possession, because they are going to need a bit more with the height that section have actually got against them.
Yeah, and how much does momentum help? So every time Trojans can stop Beck from having, more than one shot attacks and just incepting it and bringing it down, surely that's going to bolster Trojans and make them shoot better.
Yeah, Trojans are great at thriving off somebody else's weakness. So you saw the missed penalty by Joe, then converted into a goal by Johnny at the other end in the same penalty. That will really drive them.
Just a reminder, it's Beck in yellow, Trojans in blue and black. Palferman, nice. Oh, I'll tell you what, if he gets hot, both him and Rachel Turner in the same division is going to be difficult. Glad to see that Beck have now answered the Trojans' goal, so they've got back on track again.
Yeah, for Beck it's really important now that even if Trojans start chipping back away, they've got to make sure that they're responding. They can't afford to lose 2 on the bounce and then another 2 on the bounce. They've got to make sure that they keep trying to keep that margin as big as they can. Because we know what Trojans can do in the second half. We know how they're going to respond to this.
Good drive for the feed for Joanne Wilson. Good combination between the boys. Joanne's at the post, trying to do a number on Catherine Goodrich. Blake Palferman with his extension. Great work from Joanne Wilson. Rachel Turner, lovely ball. A great shot from Patel. And look at that. That's a great fight from Amy Turner coming in and picking it off.
We should just take a moment to mention Heather Equemisi, strong Beck player. She's played at Trojans as well, actually. She's played, but she knows them all so well.
And for England at every level.
England international. She should be here playing for Beck. Unfortunately, she underwent an operation yesterday, so we just wanted John Denton, the coach of Beck, would like me to just send out Beck's well wishes to her, and I'm sure that extends to the Trojans players because they know her so well.
And Heather, get well soon. See you back on the korfball court. Hopefully you're able to tune in to this historic broadcast of our final on the BBC. Dave Brooks hasn't had many shots, he's had 2. That's a decent one from Tony, yes.
And again, you see that combination between Dave and Tony. So Dave there passing it off to Tony's shot, and it's such a good shot. He is really going to be a big threat against Beck. And I wouldn't write him off. Everyone looks at Dave Brooks, but Tony Woodbine easily clocks up 7-8 goals a game in the National League.
Talk us through this substitution. They've just taken Hannah Goodridge off from defence and they've put Lizzie McLeod on. What is it that Gary thinks that Lizzie's going to be able to bring to this game?
It looked a little bit that Hannah was struggling to just hold her ground against the strength and height of Kenzie. What an amazing shot from the sideline
Kieran
there.
Hicks.
So Lizzie might just be able to hold her ground a little bit more, or he might have a little view to just give Hannah a bit of a breather, set her mind and come back on again later.
Good setup from Trojans.
Nice,
beautiful shot from Amy Turner. That very nice, wasn't it? So I really like the structure that they're going into. Now we're back in the flow of the game. It's just that Trojans have maybe been 10-15 minutes late coming to the party, but they're definitely at the party now.
Yeah, they've made their adaptations. They've worked out what they've got to do. They've tightened up in some areas and loosened up in others to steal the ball back in other places. And what they'll want to do is capitalise on that right now.
First pass inside from Lizzie McLeod goes astray and gets intercepted.
One thing that Lizzie will have to watch is she is quite a young player, inexperienced compared to some of the other Trojans girls. So she'll have to be a little bit more careful with her possession.
And it's not easy. It's not easy coming on, let's say halfway into the first half when you are 4 goals down, and you've been given a job, and that's not easy to do, particularly not in the final.
And then a little mishandle. It's hard to come on in the final anyways. We probably hooked at different stages of our careers. Never mind in one as big as this. And as you're saying, coming in behind. Coming to do a job. It was interesting that Hannah Goodrich actually sat down. We do have reversible subs. Sometimes they use an opportunity. My first thought was, are they switching ends? But I thought, no, they can't be doing that.
Hannah has actually carried quite a severe ankle injury earlier on in the season, which took her out for quite a few matches. So it might be something more to do with that.
Decent shot from Davish Patel off a nice ball. Bounces kindly for Trojans to bring it out. 25-second shot clock starts as soon as you take possession in your attack half. Oh, strong pass. Tony couldn't quite handle it. And looks like Lizzie McLeod is going to get that decision. Great, just a restart. Joe Bedford on the ground. Oh,
and from the ground, up he pops and wins that collect from Toby Woodbine.
His Pilates teacher would probably be very happy at that, his ability to get off the floor and catch that.
Lovely feed there from Rachel Turner. The way she cut that angle to get there for Davish Patel.
And that momentum carried into Davish's shot. So you said, beautiful feed. Davish with a nice step back, nice long shot. Oh, Beck have started well. I'm so pleased. We are in for, I think, one of the best ever finals.
Let's hope so, Tom.
I'm not just saying that. If Beck keep going, because I know Trojans will get going. I know they will.
So Joanne Wilson will go to the post, which again is a really interesting setup. Because it's typical that girls maybe don't go to the post as much because the boys might look to drop off, but these two boys are actually shooting really quite well, so Johnny and Sam can't drop off too much. They've got to make sure, because if they are winning that second, that collect, the ball's going to come straight back out to that free player, and they are very likely to drop it in.
Yeah, it comes down to possession really, and that's what Beck have been having the better of the two halves in. And you know, there's a stray ball there between the Trojans end, and it'll be capitalised down this end, no doubt. And that would be something that Trojans would be a little bit mindful of, and Gary will certainly be having a little thought about how he can just help his team keep the ball a little longer. At the moment, they're losing it a bit too quick.
I haven't even seen Trojans really get into much of a structure yet. I'd like to see them, take their time with their passing on the outside and maybe go very route one and just say, right, Dave, you are going to the post. Tony, you will stay on the outside. Make Lizzie run on the inside, and then we'll play it from there. But at the moment, they're not getting an opportunity. The ball handling hasn't quite been there.
No, and I think the interruption with Lizzie will certainly have knocked them a little bit in that section, because they're so set, Trojans, in who they normally play with. But again, they will adapt to it, and you'll see them get into the game. And Lizzie can be a really great shooter on the outside if she gets her game going as well.
Oh yeah, I saw it. I was at the European Championships with her earlier in the year, and the way she played against Belgium, she was given an opportunity and she took it, and she had a fantastic game. So we know she can score goals.
In the meantime, Blake Palmer has been getting on with what he does very well.
And Becca maintaining that 6-goal gap, which I've said is crucial. That's almost they're starting to feel comfortable. So they can maintain that 6-goal gap going into half-time. That's a really strong buffer, just in case when Trojans bring that charge back.
Because we know
they will.
This gap will go up and down, but it will come down at some stage from here, I know, before the end of the game.
I'm really impressed to see that drive from Johnny there. You don't often... I haven't really seen that side of his game. He's usually very much on the inside, so actually seeing him go from the outside to the inside is quite a nice transition.
And that call defended, which is when you, against your personal opponent, you can't get lazy. You have to get yourself free in order to shoot, and the referee didn't adjudge it. We have specific criteria for it, but the referee are judging that the player hadn't done enough there.
This is what Trojans need to do a lot more. They want to restrict Beck down to one shot and then steal the ball back, and that's what they've not been able to do so far. Beck have had far too much possession on repeated numbers of shots, and eventually they're just scoring, and it's frustrating the other end. They're not seeing much of the ball, and therefore their attacks are also quite rushed. So this will be better period for Trojans if they can just keep possession rather than like that one shot and they lose the ball again.
Again, for me, I think it's their long shots. Their long shots aren't dropping, where they can collect them easily. So I would like to see them, getting a nice feed and just driving on the inside, just trying to generate, maybe pick up some fouls, go to the free pass line, get some penalties under your belt, build your goals back up the easy way rather than relying on your long shooting, which just isn't on at the moment for whatever reason.
Kayla Fitzgerald, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Doesn't get to go. She showed herself on the outside, drove to the inside, one-handed running in shot wouldn't go.
Girls on the inside.
And that one's going to go off the back. Okay, so, all right, Trojans came back into this, but 4 goals in 22 minutes? What's going on?
It's not a great start for them, and I think they've got to do a lot better in terms of their ball movement. You can see they're trying to force an idea, and that would have been a great goal if that had gone in.
That would have been pretty amazing.
But this is what they want to do, a bit more structure and a bit more possession. Now they've had 4 shots in just one attack. This is going to result in a lot better possession, and I would imagine their shot percentages will play out for a goal eventually, and they need a lot more of this than what they've been doing prior.
And Johnny Nickerson back into the post, having a good spell against Davish Patel. Nice tip down. I think it's probably 4 collections that he's pulled down in this attack alone. But he has had good position. Okay, now let's see the boys on the inside give the girls on the run on the outside. Johnny, another collection.
It's just not going for them. But, you know, like we say, they're very experienced players. They will keep their heads. They will regroup. They will get a game plan between the 4 of them. They're so good at doing that. I've never seen another team that comes together, discusses, analyses, and says, right, this is what we're now going to go and do. So they will regroup, and it will come for them in a moment, but it's just a case of how long into the game is it going to be before they do start dropping these goals in.
Oh, beautiful from Kieran Hicks. I like what John Denton has done with his setup and his layout, because it's this Trojans end that attacking now are struggling. And when this Beck division gets back into attack, they're scoring so quickly, it's not giving Dave Brooks a chance to actually get in and do his business. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful from Amy Turner.
Yeah, Amy Turner's under a lot of pressure. I think this is a great tactical matchup for Beck, you know, with Joanne Wilson. Yes, she's very tall, but she doesn't have to go really far out to put quite a lot of pressure on Amy's shot, and you can see it's having an impact. Her shots are going much higher than she had won and a little bit shorter. So Amy will just need to get her confidence back there and do what she just did and draw her out to take her back in again, and that will be a lot more fruitful for them.
And a good part of that is the boys, I mean, obviously we're waiting for the ball again, the other end is the end that we're talking about. I think the boys are offering good interception defence around the post, making it hard for the girls to pass it in. And now a Beck timeout.
A Beck timeout. So, Tom, what do we think that's all about? Why would John Denton want to call a timeout at this point? I would have thought they've got the momentum. Why call a stop to the game?
Well, why waiting for me? I think we're about to get the mic in so we can hear what John Denton's had to say. It is an unusual timeout in terms of his timing. Let's see what John's got to say.
The shots are there, take them. That is always there. That's always an option off the back for you running Tony, but he needs that feed. So when we're coming out, make sure we're coming out at an angle. When 2 of you are at the post, if someone's taking it in front, you've got to break out. Yeah, you've got to break out to the side so they can get the ball to you. All right? That's good. Keep it up.
I think the key thing he was saying there is you've got to take your shots.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is a really good bit of advice from John Denton, because when you're goals ahead, sometimes you start turning down good chances just because you want to hold on to the ball, when this is too far to go for them to hold on to this league. And really, that's good advice from John Denton, encouraging his players to keep shooting, keep taking their chances.
But it's really interesting advice as well, because when you are 7 goals up, you might think that maybe he's saying, let's stay calm and just pass the ball around and maybe try and rein them back in. But actually, no, he's put your foot on the net, just like end it now, which is brilliant. He's being brutal.
Yeah. But it is an unusual time. Sometimes let's see how both teams say, oh, look at that. But it's given Trojans a chance to just have a little tactical rethink as well. They've got the boys on the inside, which allows Amy Turner to shoot, unfortunately, long from the outside. Catherine Brooks holding, passing to her husband, Sam Brooks. Great extension from Sam. Doesn't bounce kindly. Joanne Wilson picks it up.
We've got just over 5 minutes to go in the half. It'll be interesting to see what Trojans. It'll be nice to see what we can try and pick out of what Gary's said to them in that timeout.
Yeah, I think interestingly, Gary will be quite frustrated at the number of shots they've been able to take. It's not been very many. Only in the last 5 or so minutes have Trojans really had a bit more possession. That was actually 3 or 4 shots before the ball was turned over, and that will be much more what they want to do. But Gary will be disappointed with the number of shots that Trojans have taken. It's not enough to start winning games.
Good combination from the Beck girls, results in a decent shot, but it's collected by Trojans.
Looks to me as though the game plan down this end, it is very much 2-2. Girls on the outside swooping round. Amy Turner will shoot from distance.
Well, you've got Blake Palferman, and Sam's just not. He's getting a couple of outside shots, but they're not great shots. And Davish Patel is making it life hard for Johnny Nickerson to shoot. So we go to the girls, and Catherine Brooks. Amy Turner knocks one down.
It's a beautiful shot that she's got, and that's right again from the sideline, and they need her scoring some of those, and that will draw the defence out a little bit more to her.
But that's really interesting because psychologically, when Amy scores, she really gets up for it and she normally really celebrates. But actually that time, there was nothing. It was, we've still got a job to do. And to me, that is more of a red light and a bit more of a warning sign that maybe they're not as confident that things are going, that they can come back because she wasn't celebrating.
Davish Patel picks up the collect, steps up the back and scored. So I think that's the key, because this Trojans attack, they're not seeing many attacks because the Beck has already scored 1 goal. So in Korfball, we switch over end to end. You go from attack to defence every 2 goals. And this attack, which is the best attack, the Dave Brooks attack is always the best attack, Mosley, and him and Tony, decent shot, great shot.
Yeah.
Okay, and now they're back in defence. Okay, they've had one attack, which they scored. Back in defence, and this other Trojans end is not quite getting it done. So they were right to tactically switch to come on and get more from the girls.
Yeah, and again, that was a combination again between Dave and Tony for that goal. I'd like to see Trojans chase down some of these balls here. They need the possession, and at the moment I think they're giving it a little bit to Beck, and that's giving them these free shots, and that's what they want to do, get that ball back and then get it back down the other end.
I think they see Beck shooting well, and they don't want to give them a chance of chasing down the ball and not making it and giving a goal away. But you're right, Steph, they're going to have to do something soon.
That's a nice switch from the Beck defensive girls.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah,
not worried
nice
by this move from Trojans.
Good attacking, good defending.
An interesting switch up there. Now the 2 boys are out attacking, and
he's
this is
Blake
much
Barton.
better.
Maybe that is what they should be doing. We said, maybe Blake was stopping Sam, but they only explored it for the first 2 minutes of the game, and actually Sam breezed around Blake there.
What a wonderful feed from Catherine Brooks and a cool-headed finish from Sam Brooks. Oh, great drive, Caitlin. Good cut across from Nina Brennan. Leaves Joanne Wilson free.
We're under a bit of shot clock pressure now.
Yeah, because the pressure that, they're not going to get another one out of that. Good sign for Trojans there.
This is much better from Trojans. You can see they're competing for the ball there. The switch by Nina was absolutely important. Otherwise, Caitlin was cleaning on a goal there. So, and they want Kenzie taking the shots. She's not there for her shooting capability. She's there for possession, and so that's where Trojans want the shots to be coming from Beck.
So we're into the last 2 minutes of real playing time, and there's still a 5-goal margin. It'll be interesting to see how desperate Trojans will be to try and eat just into that before half time.
Oh, Johnny Nicholson turns, gets around Patel, has a little word with the referee on the way out. Thought he got a nudge for a penalty. Yeah, you're right. There will be another goal in this half, I think, Jess. And that's adjudged to be a foul on Dave Brooks, competing for the collect. Girls on the inside. Good setup, good discipline, the way the girls set up straight up for that.
This is quite far out. It's really pressured. But again, you see, even though it's so far out, they've got the ball back, and so they can keep doing this.
Oh, that's nice. Cheeky. Looked a little bit off rhythm shot from Rachel Turner. Our confidence is obviously high. Minute to go.
A goal here would be absolutely critical for Trojan psychology going into the half time, so I'm sure they will take their time and set up the right shot.
Great collection from Davish Patel, allows Beck to bring it out. So let's see a little bit of clock management from Beck now. Can we see if they can work to get the last shot? And they've got 39 seconds in order to do it. Nice shot from Joe Bedford, but even better collection from Kieran to keep it alive. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Yes, Kieran Hicks finds space, but Joe Bedford turning shot, that's not his best shot. And it's allowed Trojans to have one last attack, probably one last attack. And with their cool heads, what they're going to do is just work it nice and slowly to make sure that they do get the last shot. Oh, great ball. Catherine Goodrich, great step. Doesn't go, and Blake Palmer with his long arm comes in and collects, and with what might have been the last action of this. And a wonderful half for Beck, leaves them at 17-12. And I think we're going to go have a word with Adam, who's in pitch side.
We're sorting out our technical difficulty. I'm here in the crowd. I've got Megan, Beck fan. Megan, how have you enjoyed that half?
Absolutely loved it. I'm just really wanting Beck to win, obviously. It's been a long time since we've had it, but I'm absolutely enjoying myself.
Who's been your favourite player in the first half, and what's going to decide it in the second half?
Rachel by far, she's really surprised me. Her goals are absolutely amazing. Obviously I'd love if my brother Billy Ashby could come on, but we'll just have to see what happens.
Awesome. Right, let's hope Beck can do it in the second half. Back to you, Jess, in the studio.
Thanks, Adam. So, Andrew, you haven't been involved in the commentary. What are you seeing from the sideline? What are you thinking of the first half so far?
Well, I mean, what a start for Beck, right? Everyone was saying before the game started, Trojans by far the favourites. I was saying to people, Beck, it was really instrumental that they had a strong start to that game, and that's exactly what they got. They couldn't have been more happy with the start.
And I think we can all be a little bit surprised. I mean, both teams probably didn't cover themselves in a lot of glory yesterday. Do you think, Steph, that maybe Trojans' slow start is maybe something to do with the fact that they were really quite dominant against Tornadoes yesterday?
It might be. I also know that they played a couple of friendlies prior to this, and they didn't come off so well on the start either then. So maybe a little bit of nerves. There's a lot of pressure. You're 11 times champions. You're going for a 12. I don't think that they'll be rocked by it, but they'll certainly know how to get back from it. But it will certainly be disappointing. And as I was saying in the commentary, disappointed with the amount of possession that they've seen, especially down at Dave Brooks and Tony Woodvine's end. They're not getting very many shots before goals are either conceded down the other end. So that is something that Gary will definitely wanting to address in the halftime talk.
And Andrew, so Beck didn't have a great game yesterday. So what will John have done and Graham, what will they have done to change that going into this game? We know that they'll have done a lot of preparation looking at Trojans. They know them inside out. But what was the difference between maybe the slow start yesterday and the amazing start today?
I mean, it can be an error some teams make if they're trying to get ahead of themselves. They're looking towards the final before they've beaten the team in the semi-final. I think Beck have been in that case before, and they've fallen short in the semi-final. I think maybe that could have been a reason why in the first half yesterday they had that slow start. Today, I think it's all about bringing the energy, so the coaches will be really firing up the players, making sure they get out there today and from the first whistle start playing, as everyone knows they can do. And I mean, especially Rachel Turner. I mean, I think she scored the first 3 shots she took in that game.
Yeah.
And like, if you're after energy, nothing is going to give it like that.
I mean, so Steph, tell me now, what will be going on in the Trojans dressing room? Will they be staying calm? Dave Brooks, like you said, he is a calming influence, but will he be keeping his cool? What will he be saying to the rest of his teammates?
Yeah, there'll be a hint of frustration, I imagine, in the changing room, but Trojans are professionals. They'll be in the changing room. It'll be all very calm. We'll be listening into what Gary's got to say, and then Dave will really take the lead in that changing room as captain. And it will be very critical but open and honest advice about what it is that needs to happen. It's always very direct, and the sections will be getting together. They'll be having a little chat right now and trying to work out how they're going to play this game, how are they going to adapt, and that is what they will do really well and have always done in all of these finals. They've been in this position before, 7 goals down I think one year, and still managed to win it, so they won't be nervous about that, but it will be a very calm atmosphere but slightly frustrated, I imagine.
Of course. And who do we think is going to benefit from having the half-time at this point? I think Trojans were just starting to get a game plan together. We noticed that down one end in particular they had a very clear structure, so I think we're just going to hopefully see some highlights of the match and we'll just keep discussing over them. But who do you think that maybe at the half-time is benefiting more at this point?
Well, the section which has got Rachel Turner in, they've been shooting really, really well. As you saw again, her first shot went in, her first 3 shots went in. But the outside shooting from Beck has been phenomenal. They've actually scored a ridiculously high percentage, and there's another of Rachel's shots. But it was 3 from 3, which is a very high percentage game to be playing at this level. It's really, really impressive.
My worry is, will Beck be able to maintain now? Because we know that Trojans will come out, they will start scoring their goals. Their percentages are much better than they're demonstrating in this game. So, Andrew, at half-time, what's John going to be saying to make sure that they're keeping that momentum and they're all keeping their energy and they're going to keep coming out and firing?
Yeah, I think the first couple of minutes going into that second half is going to be very important. I think at half-time the coaches are going to be talking to the players and saying, yes, that's a fantastic first half, but you have to keep your calm. You can't start getting complacent now. Trojans have been in this place before, 7 goals down, come back, tied at full-time and won in golden goal. These players really need to focus now and dig in deep at the start of the second half.
Oh, massively. So don't forget, you can reach out to us on social media, send us your thoughts. This game is incredible. If you're watching it somewhere, tell us where you're watching it from. Send us your tweets at England Korfball. Get in touch, Korfball Finals. It's 5-goal margin. That's pretty huge at this point. Like I said, I wanted to see that 6-goal buffer, so I'm hoping they're going to maintain that. Tell us, what was your favourite goal of the game? So going forward, what can we see in the second half? How are Trojans going to come out and establish their dominance?
I think Trojans would have had a very clear plan going into the second half now. They'll want a lot more possession, so you'll see Johnny taking the post in one end, and I would like to see probably Neela get a little bit more involved in the game. She's been very quiet, she's a prolific goal scorer, but we've not really seen much of her. So I imagine there might be a slight shift to get her a bit more involved in the game.
I don't think she's been a focus for them at the moment at all, which is a real shame. But then, like you say, they haven't had the possession, they're not retaining the ball. I've hardly seen Neela shoot, and she's got one of the most clinical shots.
No, and that will be something they will fix, because she is a match winner. At international level, she scored the golden goals, and so she will definitely be wanting to be brought back into the game. And she will put her stamp on in that half-time team talk to say, I need to be playing more. I'm not seeing much of the ball, and that means the other end at the same time have to get that possession back, and that's what they're struggling with that very tall end. They're struggling to get the possession. So Johnny will have a big job if they're going to get the possession back, help the other end out, and get Neela back into the game a bit more.
Do you think we might see the return of Hannah Goodridge to the game, or do you think she's now done?
I think it will really depend. If it's an injury substitution, it's probably doubtful that she will come back in. Lizzie's made an impact. It was a 7-goal difference, it's now 5, and Trojans will be very happy to play the game right the way through the margins, down a goal, down a goal. They won't expect a flurry. They'll expect to get themselves back into the game, and if they need to win it by 1, that is what they'll do.
And Andrew, Beck, who's going to step up? Who is going to keep driving them forward? I mean, you'd assume Davish Patel, he's Beck through and through. Is he going to be the one that's talking in that dressing room? Is he going to be the one who's going to put the performance in on the pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the guy leads by example. He wears his heart on his shoulders. Like, he'll be firing those players up in the change rooms, and he'll be leading by example out there on the court. I think he's doing a fantastic job against Johnny. Johnny is a man mountain around the post, and Dav's doing a really good disruptive role. I think, like, Becca's shooting well, the confidence is there in the shots, they're taking great shots, but the game, the second half, is going to be all about the defence. Like, it took, I think, Trojans 15 minutes to score their first goal from open play, and that's all down to that pressure Beck were given. If they can keep that up in the second half, then they've got a real good shot in this game.
Definitely. And what about Blake Palfreyman, Rachel Turner, having incredible games? Can they maintain that, or are we going to see a slight drop in performance, do you think?
You know, Beck are a very fit team, and I've no doubt that they'll keep up that intensity all the way through to that final whistle.
I'm sure they will. Right, but let's go to Adam and find out who he's got with him at the moment.
Hi Jess, yeah, I'm here with Gary Brooks, Trojans coach. Gary, not the first half you wanted. How are you going to get back in this game?
Yeah, it's a very difficult challenge for us. Lots of height in the team, lots of good shooting on their part, and we're struggling to get the second rebound at the moment. So we've got a couple of things in mind, but we'll see after the first 5 or 10 minutes and see how we go before we look to maybe take some other options on us. But at the moment it's looking quite tough for us, but we'll keep playing away. The next 10 minutes is quite important to us.
Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys in the commentary booth.
Well, Gary's right. The next 10 minutes are going to be very important to them. They're known for their resilience, but we've never seen them quite this far behind, like this early in the game, have we? Normally, some team might keep them level, but Steph, they're going to be challenged now, aren't they? Mentally, physically, and their titles at stake here.
Yeah, this is the ultimate challenge of their mental capacity, really. How much are they going to see the next 10 minutes through? Gary's absolutely right. This next 10 minutes is crucial because it's either going to open up the margin where the game gets a bit beyond their grasp, or they're going to put themselves right back in it. So the next 2 goals and the next 10 minutes are going to be critical for Trojans to get back in this game.
Yeah, okay, let's Korfball. Nickerson, Amy Turner, Catherine Brooks. Sam Brooks is the other person in that. And that shot is poor, but it is really well collected by Catherine Brooks, sorry.
Brooks, sorry.
Amy Turner under pressure from Joanne Wilson. As you were saying, Steph, Jo doesn't have to go out so far to put that pressure on her.
And I like that setup. I still think that is where they need to be going to get their goals. I think the girls on the outside are going to be dangerous. They're maybe not looking for Catherine as much, and I think that is probably typical of Trojans. They only ever tend to give it to Catherine if she's through on goal, and then she's clinical. She will put it away. Yeah. But I think she needs maybe a bit more ball in hand, take the pressure away from Amy to then release Amy to take those shots.
Long shot from Caitlin.
Great hustle from Neela Brennan.
Great hustle from Neela Brennan, for sure.
And interestingly, both girls are stepping off Catherine and Amy because they've got that height. And, Rachel Turner on Catherine can afford another little step back because Catherine, taking the long shot, isn't quite as prolific as Amy. And so they'll wait for the rebound and try and steal the ball from that position.
Nice help, girls on the inside. Sam Brooks drives around Blake Palfreman again, but he doesn't score the shot this time. But that's his favourite shot on the outside. He just scored that one. Good attacking from Sam. Good start from Trojans in the second half.
It's definitely the start they wanted because a goal going the other way would have made it very difficult.
Yeah. And, if they do get back level and it does get to equal, I mean, Joanne Wilson, I'm really happy for her.
Joanne Wilson's going to shoot from distance like that, then maybe, it's still a long way to go, but maybe it is their day.
Jess, you were about to say it, weren't you?
I'm getting carried away.
Maybe Trojans are going to lose this time. Tony Woodbine, he certainly's got, if he's got something to say with it, he's going to knock it down like that. Nice shot from Tony.
Trojans have in their team some real match winners. Neela Brennan being one of them. Pivotal moments when you think, where's a goal going to come from? She'll score it. Tony Woodbine the other. When you think, where is this coming from? Wow, what a goal from Caitlin.
That was under a lot of pressure from Lizzie McLeod. A lot of pressure. But Caitlin shooting from
she
really
handled
quite
that
far
pressure.
out.
I think she probably raised her shot a little bit because of the pressure. And clean through.
If we were worried that people weren't going to play up to the occasion, because this is, that's another great shot.
Amy Turner.
The goal drought has gone. If we were worried that players weren't going to step up because it was a big event, and that's gone out the window. Everyone is giving their best performance here today.
Well, I think we saw that the finals last year was so great. Here, like Palfreman. I wish I had that shot in my repertoire. Wonderful ball coming in from Davesh Patel. Look at that. He is almost underneath the post when he squeezes it up. I'm glad Beck have come out strong because I know Trojans will get going, and that's a bad miss from Neela Brennan. And
as is that. She's such a skillful player. Like one of my favourite players to watch ever.
Yeah.
But she's just not in the game enough, and I think she hasn't had enough of the ball to really, use her ball handling skills and really kind of feel comfortable yet. It's not often there's a half where we're not talking about Neela Brennan like in every attack, but we haven't even really seen her feature much yet.
I think the switch of Amy Turner onto her sister Rachel Turner has actually dampened down Rachel a little bit, and it has worked down that end.
Yeah, I'd like to see Neela just come out a little bit more, but then that does mean that one of Tony or Dave are going to have to go in. With Tony shooting so well, that might be one of the reasons why. But this is a pressure shot, and this is what she's... I thought it was in.
Yeah, we all thought that was in, yeah.
And that's a really unfortunate call.
Neela's got one of the best step backs for a girl shooting, because she can shoot off of 1 foot. I'm just wondering if the height of Caitlin, because she is an imposing figure, I'm wondering if that is psychologically making her not take those long shots and not even look to break off.
I don't think we can say Neela's doing it so badly. I think Caitlin's having a massive day, and there's Blake Palfreman, another guy. Tapped out with Joanne Wilson. That would have been sweet if that had gone. Very, very nice. Patel can't get it to drop though. You can feel tension in here, girls.
Yeah. The crowd are really getting into it as well,
absolutely,
which is fantastic.
they're getting into it. No action on any of the benches yet. They're all looking pretty calm.
Both coaches looking very calm.
Yeah, probably inside they're boiling.
Steve Jones is just going to adjust the post.
Which we've seen a couple of times this weekend, but okay, doesn't take long. We get on with it. This good refereeing, actually. I really like the way this game hasn't got bogged down in anything. He's kept it moving.
I like that. Kieran just putting a foot on the ball, maybe just keeping it in place, but maybe just making it a little bit dusty. So Lizzie just making sure that he can't do that anymore and taking it from him.
He's called an encroachment, and that's going to be against Beck. So if Beck do this one more time, then they'll give away a penalty. That's why Tony held it a heartbeat longer.
Oh, the pass off wasn't there. He saw Dave was free, but
so
Joe Bedford just got the big hand on it.
His fake got Kieran Hicks into the air, but didn't quite work out from there. Oh, that's a good turn from Patel.
He's feeling good.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I'm looking at him. Well, he's already dropped that great shot, and I think he's having a good game against Johnny, though Johnny's collecting very well.
Well picked up from Dave Brooks. He's going to shoot that.
It's a big shot coming up.
Oh,
but
Caitlin
you can't win the
Fitzgerald.
play.
Really, she just out-muscled Neela Brennan there and used her height.
Again, the next goal really is going to dictate who has the momentum. If they can maintain that 6-goal gap, because we know, again, I keep saying it, but it will happen. Trojans will get on a run of goals.
And there's Rachel attacking against Amy. And did you see Rachel point to the side because she didn't like the pressure from Amy? She wanted the ball to go away and come back at a different angle, because I think Amy Turner is actually really doing a great job on her sister at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really good matchup, isn't it? It's changed the game a little bit for the other end, and you can see it's giving Dave and Tony's end a little bit more possession, and now the goals. We've seen Tony and Dave score 2 already in a few minutes, and that's what Trojans will want. They weren't doing that in the first half.
Hicks. Oh, too long, ugly shot. Oh, great work from the big tough man, Joe Bedford. And then somewhere in the middle there, they've got a shot clock reset as well, so they can take their time and get a good setup, but now they're going to have to move it. Caitlin, who's on it.
That's a nice shot.
Oh, yeah, come up short, but they do get the decision on that, and Lizzie McLeod wants it, but I think it was her that committed the foul. Yes, it was. Restart, shot clock reset to 25.
One thing Beck will have to be careful with if Trojans do come back is not just taking the outside shot and losing the possession they've been so enjoying. Because things like that, it's just going to gain the momentum for Trojans. They don't have to, they're already in the lead, play another pass. And that will be something Beck will want to be really careful of, to not give away something that they've had a lot of control on.
That's the move, that's the one.
And that is uncharacteristic from Catherine, that she likes that shot, that one-handed coming in from the side. Yeah, Steph, I think you're right.
But they'll take heart from the fact that they had 2 brilliant opportunities, and Amy shooting from distance, it looked like a lovely shot. I think it was Sam pulled it down, Catherine swooping around and she was completely through. So they've got to take heart from the fact that they were able to generate 2 brilliant opportunities. They just can't convert at the moment.
Yeah. But it's not in defence, I think, that Beck are going to win this. They're going to have to keep scoring and they get a decision there. Contact after the shot. It's only a free pass. Kenzie Baldock. Lizzie McLeod taking this interesting double team position from the back. She's coming very quickly, but it's gone to Caitlin.
Must have moved the ball. That's clever from Joe. Kieran wanted it on the outside, but he just held it, let them set up again.
That's the experience of Joe saying, look, we don't need to go that quick. And that's just game management. It's not, time wasting or anything. But remember, they've still got to keep their aggression and their drive.
10 seconds now, so Joe forcing that up. But
and Caitlin, she's going to know it's going to pass that. Joe will get that up. Will he hit?
Oh.
I don't know if it ended up being...
It looks close from this angle, but I don't know if it
whether
was.
they actually collected it. Was it a shot clock violation? That's sloppy from Catherine. And her and her husband a little tap her hands.
So this is the end down here, that if they can just keep the control and keep that ball away from Johnny's section, this is where Beck will win the game.
Yeah.
Oh, Kieran does
Fair
well
fight,
there. Didn't think he had it.
Yeah, the boys,
they've
gone to the long shot game,
yeah,
but I just think...
I'd like to see Joe attacking more on the inside.
Yeah, they're already in the lead. They don't need to take that shot.
No.
And it's not a high percentage shot.
Exactly. Let's take the...
Trojans will be happy if they're going to take the remainder of the game with those types of shots.
Great interception from Rach Turner. She read that so well.
Yeah, and wonderful line from Blake Palfman against Sam Brooks. Body language of both teams still very, very good. They're still on for this, for sure.
Trojans will be much happier with a 4-goal margin. They know their capability in the tight moments. So, as I said, it's this section. They need to just have a bit more control, not take shots from so far out. It can be costly for them.
Yeah, but they can't lose their aggression. And that's what I'm seeing in the moment. Instead of stroking it around without perhaps all the intent that they did have in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, worrying signs. Have a look at when the ball goes back down there. And, for me, I know they want to control it, but korfball's an aggressive game. You know, you have to create and generate that space. And neither team just finding their best form at the moment.
No, it's gone a bit tetchy now. So Beck, 2 shot clock violations, really struggling to find the post even with their shooting. But then Trojans haven't been able to kind of really cement that coming back into the game. You know, it's still a 4-goal margin, which they can do, but if they get it to 3, now that's danger zones for Beck.
Yeah, it's been a shame for Trojans that they haven't capitalised on the possession that they've now had. That's 3, not even a shot gone up in the last 3 attacks for Trojans.
Wonderful from Caitlin.
I thought Lizzie had quite a nice line, but we'll watch it again.
Yeah, so there's the aggression, there's
the
drive. It was that 1-2 step and it was done. Lizzie was in the wrong position, had to foul. Bedford tucks that away. Might be a little bit relieved that one went in. And yeah, you can see his big smile. He's certainly appreciating that. Good feed. Opposite. Sam Brooks.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, look at that.
How did that come back out?
That is a typical great Trojans goal. It's the one that's not dropping for them today.
Amy aggressive towards the post.
Okay, yeah.
Trojans will definitely need to finish some of these smaller shots that they, you know, Kat has had a couple, Amy's had a couple, Neela's had a couple. They want to start converting these now.
Well, they're never short of confidence, but it's going to eat at you eventually.
They're leaving a few goals out there at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it will affect Trojans a lot less than other teams, but eventually it's going to start to hurt them, and they're going to thinking, is this the time? Once they start asking themselves, is this the year that we're going to lose?
Wow.
That's when they're done. They haven't quite started asking that yet.
No, they'll need to keep a positive mindset. I don't think it's in the Trojans' mindset to think, are we ever going to lose? But they certainly will want to get a little bit more finishing on some of the shots down this end, because they've had the opportunities to close that gap to 3 goals and they haven't quite taken it, and could be punished quite heavily if they don't start getting the ball back.
Okay, he's got a little bit scrappy. Even the crowd are just feeling just a little bit subdued. Like us, they're waiting to see who's going to make the breakthrough. The next couple of goals, absolutely crucial.
Yeah, I'd like to see this end just tidy up the passing a little bit. We've seen a few loose passes.
Great,
you know, that being an example.
Now, is Amy slipping on the floor there? I know that's part of her style, is she will get low.
I think we're just going to clean the ball. I think the ball's a bit sweaty.
I'm not off camera, you can see Amy Turner having a word with Sam Brooks, and she wants a better feed. And because twice she's drawn a player around, and as she's gone in to give the ball, she's almost fallen over because the player's not there to pass it.
But the brilliant thing is, she's angry, but it's coming from a good place. And actually, that's interesting. We're going to see Amy Turner make way for Hannah Goodridge.
And it looks like she's standing
Amy will be
up.
going down the other end, I
She's going
think.
to switch on to the other end.
That's interesting. I was wondering whether they might have put Neela down in this end just to offer a long shot, and not because Amy hasn't been shooting really well, but a different style of player to add to the section, which has just been struggling a little bit.
Well, you've got to find a way to get your best players into the game, and Neela certainly is one of the Trojans' best players, if not one of England's best players, certainly girls. And she's not getting it done at the moment, and sometimes you're just going to try and give her a chance, have a look at another end. and all these Trojans players are so versatile, they can play well together.
It is Neela making way for Amy Taylor, so I do think Neela will be coming back on into this division.
She is going down the other.
But it does seem a wasted sub to have brought. I mean, I assume they didn't want to put Hannah on into defence, maybe, if she is injured. So maybe that's why she's come on down this end, and they've used the extra substitute to bring her back off. But
and Sam misses.
That's not typical of Sam
Not
to
at
miss
all.
a free
He's
pass.
got his head in his hands.
There's still 16 minutes on the clock, a 5-goal difference. It's not a place where Trojans haven't got that from before. And Neela coming into the other end is what I was sort of expecting from before. So I expect Hannah will come back out then.
Decent shot from Jo Bedford, but that's kind for Kenzie Baldock, but she does pick it up well. Kieran Hicks with the early second shot. No, that's
not
a
the one.
poor shot from...
I've noticed John Denton handing in his timeout card, I'm assuming for the next whistle. So it'd be interesting to see that he's maybe not completely happy with what's going on. So
great from Catherine Goodrich Brooks. And she's going to come off for Neela Brennan, who is switching ends. And we are going to see that timeout now that you saw, as well as that substitution. Called by John Denton.
If I was John Denton right now, I would be saying stop the long shots from the back end, because you're 4 goals up and you don't need to take the shot, which is a big risk in the possession.
They're going to score goals, of course they are. When we're in attack, just play with the same relaxation. You see everyone's getting a bit tensed up now. We just want to be able to throw the ball around, profit from them being in the wrong position, let the chances come, just like the one Blake got with the diagonal pass from Dad. So then, we don't need to force anything now. And if we have a shot, we retain possession. Let's not put another one up after 3 seconds. Again? Let's not put another shot after 3 seconds. If we can make our attacks 40 seconds a minute, that's better for us. We're doing great.
Beck assistant coach Graham Box. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. He's talking about time management. He wants to stretch out these attacks, Steph. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that is the wise advice, really. Why take a shot after 3 seconds that is going to result in a turnover? They don't need to take that shot. So they want to work for the best shot, which is going to result in a goal. There's no better pressure than adding goals to your tally rather than shots to your tally.
And that was Rachel Turner's first shot in a long time.
But we can see them using that advice here. That Rachel took that shot. Blake was able to retain possession, and actually they did. They came back out, they reset their structure, and they didn't just take the next shot.
Well, Blake forced that one up, a little bit uncharacteristic, and gets given a defender decision against him. Good hands for Kenzie Baldock. That just breaks the rhythm of the attack. Dave Brooks, because he feeds very well, he does everything very well, but that catch Kate on the way through. Yes, it does. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Shot clock doesn't reset for an out ball. A long way out, long way out. Not great. Okay, that's one of the worst attacks that Trojans have put up this half.
I think now looking at the end, I would like to see Dave and Tony go out and attack together, draw Kieran and Jo out, and let the girls just work around on the inside.
Beautiful Balderman. Oh, God, it's Stonewall penalty. What a ball from Davish Patel. That was all wrist, all zip, into Palfreman.
Sam's claiming that he didn't touch him. And no, it was Neela. It was Neela that he ran into. Right, okay.
Just now, there's a big Penalty for Patel.
Ooh.
And he misses it.
I'm surprised he didn't take the follow-up shot
score
himself.
Well, when you got Blake Palfman on the outside, I think this probably was the percentage move out there. And Tony just can't handle it. Nice line in, good ball, but can't handle it. Okay, how's this missed penalty going to affect Beck?
I don't know whether it will affect them too much, other than perhaps for the supporters it's a big draw of breath, and they would have liked to have just seen it go to a 5-goal difference, because that's more than a double change of ends. But it'd be interesting these next 5 minutes whether this end do start to change up the way they attack, because it's just not working for them at the moment. Dave going in, where's the goals going to come from? It's a lot of pressure on Amy and Tony to take the match-winning shot, and I'd like to see that probably changed up a little bit.
Well, I think however this game turns up, respect to John Denton, I think he set his team out very well, and they've really set some challenges for Trojans. Trojans haven't quite solved those yet.
No, they certainly haven't. And the big one is, how are they going to get more possession? Because it were the two tall girls, and this is what's been so disruptive for them. They're losing the ball either out on the front, Amy's having to take really far out shots to get around them, or they're losing it under the post.
And they're doing it without a superstar performance from Blake Palfram. He's just playing like a normal player at the moment, not the superstar that he is. He's not scoring like heavily. So all to play for both teams.
Yeah, this is where, you know, a taller girl for Trojans would really help them.
Yeah.
But, well collected.
And that's credit to John Denson, and that's a penalty I think is given against Kieran Hicks. Overcommitted on Dave Brooks, and we'll get a quick look at the replay.
And again, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's just on the wrong side, and he didn't. He wanted to should have kept the ball clear. Okay, we're back to 3. Hasn't been at 3 since the beginning.
No, and a missed penalty, interestingly, by Davish Patel, followed up by a scored penalty by Trojans. Now there is the psychology of match-winning performances.
Well, lose our nice Palverman, beautiful. Sam Brooks thought that perhaps that might have been cutting, but didn't look like he made much of an effort to follow around there.
So it looks as though we all see Hannah Goodrich return to the game for Lizzie McLeod.
And Gary Brooks for Trojans, really juggling in particular his girls at the moment. Made no substitutes yesterday, even late in the game. I thought...
Don't know that we see that often from Trojans. I mean, Steph, maybe you'll know better, but I can't remember the starting lineup changing that much throughout finals usually.
No, Trojans have a very set starting lineup, and their consistency is one of the keys to their successes over the many years. And, you know, they're 4 goals now again. They'll be pleased to get it back down to 3 if they can do that within the 10 minutes left. And if they do that, you know, I probably still would fancy them.
Give us a chance to believe, Steph.
Well, I am obviously slightly biased. But again, you know, are Beck going to take these shots from really far out? And if they are, they're not the shots that they want to be taking.
Yeah, that's not the one.
So that's a defended position. Now let me just explain that as a timeout comes. Oh no, it's actually a referee's timeout to get that wipe. So the rules in korfball are you can shoot from anywhere within your division, but the defender has the opportunity to block the shot, which is number 1, block it and whack it off. But number 2, if the player hasn't worked hard enough and you're within arm's distance between them and the post trying to block the ball, the referee will give you a decision. So that allows small players and tall players to play on the same court, because otherwise in basketball, a big player would just go to the post and shoot over a little player. Oh, Sam Brooks, fantastic.
Yeah, free pass specialist. You know, he's scored 2 from 3 now, and these are going to be really punishing for Beck. Taking it within 3 goals at the 10-minute mark, that's what Trojans definitely will be wanting to see.
I'm struggling to remember the last Beck goal. They really need to...
It was Blake Palfram when he spun around the post, drop off at the back. But he's in defence now, and that's where...
Can they get Neela into this game? That's what they want to see. Can they get her in?
But look at Joanne Wilson. She's
doing a fantastic
She's picking
job.
a distance great. And but great cover there from Rachel Turner. But you can't afford to leave any of these Trojans girls alone because they shoot so well. Back to 2.
And for me, that's actually for Beck down the other end. They needed to be a little bit more controlled with their possession in the Kieran and Joe's end. They were taking shots a little bit unnecessarily, and they've got Trojans back into the game. And it'll be very interesting whether this Beck section have a little bit more discipline not to take this type of shot where they risk losing the ball.
That's a decent setup that they've had so far. Sam seems to have a little bit of an injury there, but it was a really nice setup. Good shot from Patel, great collection from Palfram. And can't quite see, did he get a little knock in the face?
No,
is that a finger perhaps?
Or thumb.
We see the occasional injury in korfball. We don't get too many. Occasionally a finger. We've probably all had some finger little dabbles now and again down through the years. But they heal pretty well. It doesn't tend to affect you so much. But Sam looks like he's in a lot of pain. That's probably dislocated, isn't it? He's probably just getting that put back in. Let's see how that affects his free pass shooting. But I wouldn't bet against him.
No, and actually this will be nice for Trojans as well. They've actually just got themselves back into the game, really. Only now 2 goals in it. It won't be purposeful, but it'll be nice for Trojans. They'll be enjoying a little bit more composure. They'll look at that shot clock and go, right, 9 minutes, 2 goals. That's a lot more time for us now to start edging away at Beck and keep pressuring them to take those really far out shots.
It looks like that was Sam Brooks' thumb. That can affect your shooting more than one of the fingers, but we'll see. There'll be no pain out there at the moment, but whatever pain is just going to be sucked up. Dave Brooks, quiet game, girls. He's not really seeing okay. No, he's playing the post because tactically that's what they need. Amy Turner, fantastic. There's Brooks.
But what Dave does so well is he reads the game. If he's not needed to be out the front, he won't. But watch, in the final moments, you might find him right out the front.
Oh yeah, if they need goals in the final moments, he'll be out there. Good collection from Kieran Hicks. Yeah, I commentated on a golden goal in I think it was your golden goal in the Europa Cup, and it was such an easiest thing to commentate on with Trojans going for a bronze medal, with me saying this is going to be Brooks, this is going to be Brooks, this is going to be Brooks, and then Dave Brooks steps up, he does take it, and other characteristic, he does score it. Joanne Wilson finds a way around, stretches it up, and great to see Beck continuing on in playing decent football, but that was a big goal for them.
Huge. And again, if they can get this next one. 8 minutes to go now then.
Oh, good work from the girls. Oh, yes. Fantastic, Hannah Goodrich. The switching, swooping move that they did just confused their defenders.
Yeah.
And they're both, well, I think it looks like it was Caitlin Fitzgerald that chose poorly.
So this is the end now, which needs to have a little bit more control for Beck, and it'll be really interesting whether they do try and take a little bit more time with what they're doing. And it's a bit sloppy from Hannah Goodrich there because they don't need to give away the foul.
Not at all. Oh, it's turned into a fantastic game, girls.
Oh,
this is the final that this wonderful venue, the Korfball Arena, deserves. Because it's going to be close. We've seen some great korfball, we've seen some great strategies, some great tactics, lovely matchups, and right now we're going to see blood and guts and more than 1 or 2 little tears at the end, I reckon, from both the boys and the girls. Oh, well done, Kieran Hicks, collecting at the post. Oh, Kenzie Baldock left alone. The danger there was a penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Caitlin having a great game. And that's football, and that's great. At least it gets a shot clock reset for Beck.
Yeah. Yeah, so when the ball hits the foot, then the clock resets to 25. Interesting again to take that shot there. No need. There's 24 seconds still left on the clock. Want to keep that ball. Now, if Trojans capitalise on that back to 2, makes it a very interesting last 5 minutes of the game. Big goal here from Neela.
Oh, penalty, yeah.
And Johnny, Blake Carverman out of position. That Johnny's so clever in that sort of situation.
Wrong arm.
And don't forget, potential golden goal coming up. Wouldn't rule it out. We've seen it before, Jess.
We have. I mean, the big question for me now is, it looks as though the momentum is very much with Trojans, and if they score that next goal, we're drawing level. Can Beck have been in the lead from the word go? So can they, if they go down, can they actually bring it back? And at the moment, the momentum is saying no, but they haven't scored a nice goal for quite a while now. So if they do end up going down to Trojans, can they pull it back?
Neela Brennan, good step inside, decent step to the outside and the shot. But Beck know they're in a game now. There's none of this, let's hold on till the end. They know that 1 goal is nothing. So it switched them on to play, because what I fear about Trojans is when your goal's ahead and they come back late to level you and you're broken and they score. But Beck know now it's game on. There is no favourites in this right now. This is going to be played out on the court.
Yeah, this is game management, and they've got to have a little bit more discipline and be wary they're still a goal up. They don't have to force anything but the best shot, because these boys down this end, look, you see Dave, he's going for a rebound. He's dropping off.
Yeah.
He wants the ball back. So they either score these shots or they're going to lose the ball.
Shot clock. Yeah. Shot clock's gone. I'm really confused. I don't think we could hear it.
Yeah, buzzer didn't sound. And the shot clocks have gone dark, which generally means that's probably a bad sign.
I think they're just being
There is a
reset.
configuration when you reset. Okay.
Well, we're entering the last 5 minutes. 1 goal in it from a 7-goal deficit for Trojans. This is going to be a big comeback if they manage to pull it off. I can see a lot of the crowd out there totally on the edge of the seats. I can see heads in hands for one side as the supporters, and I've got other people with their hands in their mouths. They just don't know what to make of a 7-goal loss right into a 1-goal difference.
Yeah, the Beck crowd haven't quite got all of the big passion that they had earlier on, and it's a Trojans crowd we can hear now.
And even though Trojans have completely fought their way back into this match, it still hasn't been the Trojans that we know. We still haven't seen a completely dominant performance from them. We haven't seen Nina Brennan scoring from distance. We haven't seen Dave Brooks just slotting them in from all over the pitch. Amy Turner shooting from distance. It hasn't worked for them, but they've still managed to claw their way back into this game, which is what makes them, 11 times champions.
Yeah, but credit to Beck. I think Beck have kind of like they've set up really well. Kieran Hicks stepping out of bounds there to shoot the ball, and obviously that's an infringement.
And again, within, they had a good 24 seconds in which to do that.
For me, that's cutting. You see, Neela's creating a block. She's creating a shield. Though I suppose Joanne Wilson could have switched on to her.
Well, yeah, but she had Sam in front of her. So that did look a little bit dodgy.
I've always kind of really hated that move, personally. It's a clever move, don't get me wrong. It's a really great use of it. But I do just... It's just a little bit cheap, and I think Trojans can score a nicer goal than that. But very clever. I mean, it draws them level, so it's a fantastic move.
Billy Ashby's come on for Davish Patel.
First shot.
Straight into the action. Decent shot. Good fight. Well won by Neela Brennan.
The difference here being that, their long shots now aren't going in. The pressure of the occasion.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to find something different, Beck. And that will be a real test of their character. Can they make that change?
And we're in Trojans time, aren't we, really, at the moment, these last few minutes. Shot from Turner.
If we'd have said before the match that in the last 3 minutes it was going to be level, we all know who we would have said would win. But at the moment, you're still not sure.
No, because Trojans haven't played a great game.
No.
They've been solid. They've showed some good touches. They've scored some decent goals. Okay, so he's just switching Davish Patel over for Kieran Hicks. Yes, that division was struggling, but he's brought him on defence, which with a player like Dav fit and agile is not necessarily a problem.
Interesting, they're keeping Dave Brooks in the rebound down that end, which really does mean that Tony and Amy are going to have to really put one of these long shots in.
Well, now Davish Patel is on. What are they going to do for a collect? But we'll talk about that when we got back down the other end. Okay, a little bit jumbled, but now we've got the girls in. And Billy don't travel, he doesn't travel, which is great. Powerfulman doesn't step out.
Need to get the shot up.
Great pressure from Sam Brooks. And then another shot clock violation. What's going on there, Jess?
Really struggling to generate a shot. Some of the passing was quite poor, which didn't allow them to take that shot. And Trojans are really pushing out onto them. Some great defence.
And now you see Tony in at the post, so we're going to get the main talisman out the front attacking.
There he is. There he shoots.
That's his shot.
Oh, he is a talisman and he is a beautiful shooter. That one didn't drop.
But look at the adaptability here. Now the change. And they've got Tony out attacking, Dave in at the post. Just gives them a little bit more control. Oh, it's a big
wonderful
goal. First
Dave
time.
Brooks reaches over, pulls it down.
Trojans are in the lead for the first time with only 2 minutes left on the clock.
And Joe Bedford just got out-muscled by him, and completely fairly. Oh, Joanne Wilson.
Great hustle from Joe Wilson. This is where I'd like to see Rachel Turner driving in. This is where she needs to be dangerous.
Yeah, she's gone a bit quiet now against Neela Brennan for sure, but she'll shoot from the outside first.
Good Joanne Wilson. I think she had that.
Great
She's
from
still got
Joanne
it.
Wilson.
Stay calm.
Still lots of time. Oh, God, they've left Rachel Turner standing there alone. She doesn't score it. Puts her hands on her knees.
We're into the last 2 minutes of real playing time. Trojans are up by 1.
And rather naively then, she goes to try and block the ball coming out. Kenzie balled up.
Oh, that's such a shame. She worked so hard to win that ball back and
Only a
just landed on it.
Inside the last 2 minutes, real playing time. So every time that the whistle is blown, the clock will start and stop.
Interesting. They're going to play the girls attacking here. Big shot from Hannah Goodrich.
Big shot,
but
doesn't go.
Look at the difference. This is what they didn't have in the first half. This control. They've had multiple possession. And that's what they want, the patience that you see from these 11 times champions winners.
just the way they're moving the ball and passing the ball, they're so confident, and they're not making the mistakes they were making earlier. Earlier, it wasn't going to hands, they were throwing it off the pitch, whereas now they're so clinical.
And they've got Blake Powerful in attack. Well, yeah, okay, no, and it was handle from Rachel Turner, just trying to force it just a little bit too much.
And we're into the last minute. The Trojans will play clever here.
Yeah, but I think Beck will get another go.
They'll certainly be playing for the time here because one goal puts a lot of pressure on the defence. And look who's out the front. It's David Brooks.
And there he goes. That's the shot that might have won it, but Davish Mattel's got it back. Okay, still plenty of time to get it.
Okay. So we might well see golden goal here. 30 seconds, so they might...
Okay, you've got to keep moving the ball.
This is in Beck's hands,
It is in Beck's hands, and now it's in Blake Powell, and a nice ball over top.
That's a nice shot.
Fantastic shot.
But a great pick-up from Johnny.
Could that be the end?
Who's not interested in getting the ball back into the half.
He's got to bring it out. He'll get blown for time wasting.
And who's in attack? But Dave Brooks.
Dave Brooks.
The man.
The man who might have won it for his team with that shot underneath the post.
12 seconds to go.
So shot clock has disappeared now because now we've got 10 seconds to go, and I think you're going to foul here. It's a new thing coming into Korfball.
Look at Joe dropping off Dave Brooks. Dave Brooks is completely
and
free.
Trojans have done it once again. They are 12-time champions. Dave Brooks takes a shot after the time, and look at the scenes on the pitch of Trojans celebrate, and they've come back from 7 goals down, Steph.
Well, it really comes down to the discipline of Beck in their attack. They had the ball 4 goals up and they just lost the possession, and Trojans have absolutely capitalised. These are incredible scenes.
Absolutely wonderful scenes as Trojans celebrate. On your pictures there you're seeing Davesh Patel being comforted. He's been here so many times at these finals. One of the best players for me in Korfball that has never won a championship. And there he sits forlorn as Trojans celebrate, and 12 in a row.
I mean,
what's it going to take to stop them, Jess?
How do you stop them? How do you do it? 7 goals. 7 goals. But, I mean, like we say, they didn't play the best. That was not the best that we've seen from Trojans, and yet they were still able to turn to different players. Different players stepped up in that game today.
And Trojans just know how to win from those positions. So, a 12 times national champions, and it shows how they've just come from such a deficit. And Beck will really be asking themselves some questions about how they managed to lose that position.
And I think Adam's in the crowd, and he's found one of our old England players and a Trojans player that had a good look at the game. Let's go to Adam.
Hey Tommy, I'm here with Lorraine.
Yeah,
Lorraine, how does that feel?
Amazing, amazing. It was a great game. I mean, everyone's like, oh, worried at the beginning. Do you know what? We've been there before, and we've come back, and I knew it'd go down to the wire. But isn't it great for Korfball to see such a final? It's amazing. A great advert for a great game.
Absolutely.
So congratulations to Beck as well.
Did you give yourself any chance at half-time?
Yes. I never doubted my team. No, I knew. I've seen them come back before, and this year was no different. So.
And who was the player of the game for you?
Well, it's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, the captain. I mean, for me, he leads from the front. So for me, Mr. Brooks.
Dave Brooks, phenomenal. Okay, Tom, back to you in the studio.
Thank you.
What's happening? Okay, I'm with Dave Brooks, the winning captain. Trojans won 12 years in a row. Dave, tell me about it.
Firstly, I want to say from the off, what a performance from Beck. Absolutely brilliant. We were up against it today, and that makes this win so much more satisfying. The fact that I think, people would say perhaps Beck deserved to win that game. I'm in a little bit of shock, but I'm so proud of the team. The support we had today was fantastic. I just want to say from the off, I want to dedicate this win to my mum. She brings the best out of me, and I'm really happy she's here today. She hasn't been well. I'm really happy for this victory for her.
So Dave, you went 3 down, okay, no problem. 5 down, now you were 7 down. What were you thinking?
I was thinking, I hope that they don't carry on shooting this way. Their shot percentage, I don't know what it was, but 3 from 3, I think, from Rachel Turner. Absolutely amazing. I was applauding her. I thought it was a fantastic final. I'm so happy that obviously we've won. I've got to give credit to Beck though. What a fantastic team.
So what was going through your mind at half-time? What was it was it you that was speaking? Who pulled you together? What was the game plan?
Everyone was saying a little bit, but we have 3 coaches. They're all saying their bit. We're talking about how just some basic errors, passing, movement. It looked like we were hungry for it. And Beck with the opposite. They were in the ascendancy. We said there's going to be a moment in this game where we're going to have a chance, a goal at a time. That's what we said, a goal at a time, sort out the defence, and it proved at the end, we just got it at the end.
So that last goal, you just got, you were just in the right position.
I was in the position I would not like to have been in under the rebound, but that seemed to be where I was today, and it paid off. I think Beck's so good under the rebound. That was a really hard game because how tall they are. We said that before the game. Their girls were fantastic under the post. It really made it difficult for Trojans. They deserve to win the game as well. I think both teams worthy of winning.
I think we were almost hoping for golden goal because we didn't want it to end. We just wanted you to carry on playing.
And yeah, respect to Beck. They tested you with Dave. You come through it. 12 years champion in a row. But let's just even celebrate this 1 year that you've done so well. You fought through the league, played great korfball, and won a great final.
And thank you very much. Yeah, very happy. We want to obviously go back to Europa Cup and try and push hard as well. That's the motivation for us, and really appreciate all the support we've had here. And I want to just take this opportunity to thank everybody who's involved. The UK have done a fantastic job. All the sponsorships. We need more sponsorships. This is such a good event. It makes me want to come back every year. I'm so happy and so proud to be a part of korfball at the moment.
Dave, thank you very much. Please go and celebrate.
Thank you.
And enjoy a party like me. And we're going to bring in John Denson, the coach of Beck. All right, commiserations, but as Dave Brooks, the great man, he said, respect to Beck. You came out. I thought your game plan was fantastic. Where to go wrong?
Second half is where it went wrong. So all credit to Trojans. It's what they do. They're an absolute class act, and them guys have done so much for British korfball year after year through their sheer dominance and just the ability to turn up and be so dedicated and put so much work in. Today I thought we had it. Last year I thought we had it, but today I really thought we had it.
We thought you had it. Steph never did, but we thought you might have had it. We were kind of hoping.
Yeah.
Some of your players, first half, were phenomenal. I mean, Rachel Turner, how much in addition to your squad has she been?
Yeah, she's been great. I mean, she came in January, so she hasn't had time to gel and fit in, but the class act that she is, she's come in and given it everything, and she makes a real difference. But Joanne Wilson, from last year to this year, oh my God, she's amazing, absolutely amazing. Blake Powerful.
Both yesterday and today.
She's a big game player, and she's someone that we've been working with. And last year she wasn't really comfortable in the team. This year she's got that confidence. She knows that we believe in her, and she's made us so proud this weekend. Everyone has, really. I mean, the boys, they speak for themselves. They're dominant there. They matched them guys out there today, and the girls did as well. And it's just, when you play Trojans, you've got to be up at the right time, and the game's got to finish when you're ahead.
Yeah.
And last year it didn't, and this year it didn't. You know, if it was 5 minutes shorter, if it was 5 minutes longer, we would have won.
Yeah.
But it's what they do year after year, and they're so good at it.
It's what they're so good at.
Gary Brooks, such a great coach. He's helped me personally as a new coach coming into the league, so much respect for all of them. I think they're an absolute class act, but yeah, we tried our best, and we'll come back next year and try our best again.
So second half, you were 5 goals up. How long into the second half was the turning point for you? When were you starting to think this is slightly slipping away? And what were you trying to engineer at that point?
At 4 goals, we're comfortable.
Yeah.
But psychologically, the players started becoming affected by it. When they start creeping up, it's like, we've been here. We've been here every year.
And how can you prepare for that? Because
you can't. You absolutely can't. You've just got to hope that you relax enough that your shots drop. And unfortunately they weren't. You know, we were putting ourselves in positions where we were forcing the opportunity, we were forcing the long shot, where we should have just waited for the ball to come to us and be like, right, now we take it, now we score. But in an environment like this, you've got the fans, they're absolutely amazing. But yeah, and it affects people. And,
So, except for changing the rules to make it 55 minutes instead of 60 minutes, what do you have to do for next year, John?
Sustain our first half performance, sustain the dominance, don't play with any fear, and just keep that powerful Beck korfball going for longer, and then we'll be there, and then they won't be able to come back.
Well, respect to you, John. I think we've got some video highlights, and it's going to say some great play. Let's go over to our video highlights. come back and step you.
Do unbelievably well. They didn't play a very pretty game, we all established that, but what they did do is make sure that they exploited weaknesses when they needed to, and more importantly changed from losing a lot of possession to gaining a lot more. It wasn't great shooting out there in terms of their percentages that they would have liked, but getting themselves back into the game involved getting that possession back, and Bet contributed to that by giving the ball away a bit needlessly early on in some of their attacks, and that might be something they'll reflect on going forward.
Well, that's what John Denton just pointed out in his interview. He was saying they forced the long shot, which is exactly what you were saying in commentary. They kept going back to that long shot, and they just didn't need to. And again, I think maybe it's the occasion, maybe the excitement of this is our year, and they didn't need to be taking those shots. There was one from Joe Bedford that I distinctly remember. I think it was a football. So they had a reset, they had a new 25, and Joe Bedford forced it up from the sideline. And he's an experienced player. He should know that was not the shot to take. And again, it resulted in a goal down the other end for Trojans.
Well, John picked out a couple of players there. Joanne Wilson, who I thought was a revelation this weekend, and her aggression, because she's always been smooth, always been strong, always been athletic and a good vision, but her aggression there was really good, so I thought she stepped up well. But what a start from Rachel Turner, Steph.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the Beck girls really dominated the first half. Rachel Turner, 3 from 3. Joanne Wilson is not a goal-scoring contributor normally for this Beck team. Pulled out a few today. She was really excellent. But going around the team, Kenzie controlling the post really nicely. It was a bit of a shame that they didn't continue that. And Caitlin Fitzgerald adding in for a few goals there. But you saw it die down, and then you saw the dominance of the Beck boys taking quite long shots, and the eventual result of that was Dave Brooks dropping, Johnny dropping, and they were picking up the ball, and they needed to just play those girls in a little bit more. That plan B would have been that option for Beck that would have really helped them keep their lead.
But we're only talking about a goal or two, aren't we here, really? Maybe earlier in the first half they could have killed it off, but probably not. But in the middle of the second half, we had the missed penalty from Patel. That's got to hurt, Jess.
Yeah, never easy to miss a penalty, but exacerbated by Trojans going right down the other end and scoring their penalty through Johnny. So tough, so tough. But like Steph says, I just think I think John Denton needed another timeout. He'd used them well throughout the game. I just wonder if that first one that he took early on in the first half, I didn't see. I questioned it at the
you're
time.
right. Maybe
should he have taken that timeout at that point because he didn't need to
we
pull them together.
We all know as coaches that those timeouts are very precious, and maybe that wasn't the right time. The one when 10 minutes to go, when they still had that 3 or 4 goal cushion, as it was starting to come down, just to stop the rot and steady the ship, that it might have made a slight difference.
Who's to say? I mean, Gary Brooks had made some very effective substitutions at that time, so maybe it did help. But equally, I think another timeout later on in this second half would have really helped Beck just get a bit more focus. And because John was saying all the right things to us just now, he realised that Trojans were coming back into the ascendancy and the momentum was with them, and they were going too much to the long shot.
But is there like a psychological inevitability? Because Trojans do it so often, Beck knew they'd come back and they were just waiting for it, Steph.
Well, I guess if that's your psychology and you knowing a team's coming back, then I would probably suggest that they're going to come back. And working on the psychology on that side, game management, as we talked about in the commentary, is a massive area for Beck to really look at. They've been in this position where they've been ahead in games and they haven't then gone on to take the lead. So their scoring looks great, their goals were fantastic, some of the goals were amazing, but game management might just be something they take a little bit of time to reflect on and look at how they can make sure they can keep and control a lead.
I think what I love about korfball is good teams adapt. The Trojans showed that they did it there, but Beck, they started well and then it looked like they were going to fall away very quickly, but then they adapted as well. But coming back to Trojans, I don't think I've ever seen Gary Brooks make that number of girl subs and the way he juggled that. Okay, but if it doesn't work, it looks bad, but it worked today, didn't it?
It did work. Well, I don't know if it worked initially. I think initially we saw Lisa McLeod coming into one division in replace of Hannah Goodrich. And actually, I think they struggled to gel. And like we say, Trojans are very set in their divisions. And actually, I don't think Lizzie worked down that end, but when she came down the other end, it did seem to work better for them.
Well, we're going to go to the presentation soon, but we've still got a little bit more time to talk. I think one of the best decisions of this game was made by two players. Just as you were saying, they've got to do something about Rachel Turner, and she scored those goals. I looked over and saw Amy Turner and who was it, Catherine Goodrich, both looking at each other, and they both went, switch. And Gary Brooks still sitting there, hadn't need to tell them, and that wasn't quite the end of Rachel Turner, but it made it a lot more difficult from there, didn't it, really?
Oh, the insight from those two players to be able to say to each other, and it wasn't a negative thing. It wasn't, Catherine, you're struggling with Rachel. No. Not at all, because we know how good a defender Catherine is. But it was just a case of, actually, I think psychologically, the switch up for Rachel to have to think, oh, I'm now playing against Amy.
Well, it just because they're both great defenders anyway, so there's no big difference.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was Amy Turner saying at the beginning that she didn't want to play her sister, because sometimes you know if you're going to inspire your sister, and she worried that she might inspire her to play better. Well, actually, as it turned out, what it meant was that it allowed Beck to get that good start, but once that changed, it wasn't quite the same. I think we're just going to describe the presentation that's going on in the back, and then we're going to get the pictures. We can see that they're all lined up, and I hear that there's a spectacular, some sort of show and some sort of sparklers that they're going to shoot over there, and I'll just have a quick look. We'll just wait for that to happen. Okay, here we go, and it's Trojans. They've won 12 times. Gary Brooks takes Dave Brooks takes the trophy from Ellen Pearce, the chairman of England Korfball. David Brooks, you are champion again, and you Trojans.
What a great celebration for Trojans.
I bet you wish you were down there with them, don't you, Steph?
Are you missing your friends now?
Do you know what, watching them, I do feel a little left out, but 12 times champions, they deserve it, and they know how to win, and that is a sign of a champion.
I tell you what, they know how to celebrate that. They know how to take those medals. I just hope they've got enough room for all of them, because unprecedented, really. All right, so before we go, we're not quite finished yet. We're going to have a quick cut to Adam. Let's go to Adam.
Just trying to get some people.
I'm not sure, maybe he's
to.
not ready. I haven't got my earpiece in. And there he is.
This is amazing. The fact that Trojans could come back in this game, absolutely ridiculous. These guys are phenomenal. At half-time, not many people in the audience gave them a chance, but there they are, champions again. And let's see if we can speak to Amy now. Amy, get a word. How does that feel?
That feels incredible. You can probably hear how good it feels to come back from 7 goals. I'm still in shock. I actually cannot believe it. The team, that is the definition of a true team performance. I'm proud of every single player on that pitch today.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that feels like that's one of the best wins that we've ever had. That's amazing.
Okay.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, well done. Let's see who else we can find. Sam, can you have a word? How does that feel, mate?
Oh, it's amazing. Like, so emotional. Like, I couldn't understand. Like, you'd think after all these years, like, it wouldn't like almost get to us. But it's just crazy how we come back after being, I think, maybe 6 or 7 down.
12 years champions. Is that the best one?
God, I don't know. I don't think you can put it over the best one, but it's just, yeah. I mean, it's got to be up there. Has to be up there. I mean, the comeback. I mean, it's just amazing. Like Beck, they played awesome as well. I mean, credit to them. Like, they always push us every single year, and yeah, it's just an unbelievable feeling. Unbelievable feeling. Yeah.
Really well done, dude. Really well done. Cheers. Deserving champion. Go celebrate with your team. Back to you, Tom, in the studio.
Yeah, thanks very much, Adam. I just want to thank all the organisers that have been able to put this together. It's one of the biggest logistical events that English Korfball has ever put on, and really they've done fantastic. Thank you, Steph. And let me go over to you, Jess, for the final words.
Oh, I mean, the words there that we just heard from Amy Turner and Sam Brooks, that sums it up, doesn't it? They're a true team. And that's not taking anything away from Beck, because they're a true club. They've just got to, I don't know what it is. They've just got to find that little something that'll just see
mentality is going to be in the end.
Mentality, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But if you've enjoyed it, we just want to say thank you so much to the BBC for showing our fantastic sport off. Get involved. Go onto the England website, try and find a club near you, and hopefully, maybe in a few years, you could be here. Come sit in the audience, take it in. Thank you for joining us. We've been England Korfball. Thanks.
Thank you.